and just basically blow your mind up, just give me a yes in the chat box that you can see my screen right now. And what I want everybody to do is head over to Facebook and join this little private group that we have going on for this conversation for tonight. So facebook.com/groups, and then if I didn't just go through it, /magic traffic machine. So facebook.com/groups /magic traffic machine. You're going to have to ask to be a member. We will grant you access, insight, and this is where we'll take questions, interaction, and all that good stuff. So we get all kinds of good two-way communication going. I want to tell a quick little story before we start rocking and rolling, guys. There's I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, sometimes, like if I was playing a big major ice hockey game or a big rugby game, or there was something epic going on like Christmas, the night before was just so stressful but exciting at the same time. And you were so anxious to just jump in to what was around the corner. Can you guys relate to that? If you can, I know you can. It's just like there's this tingling in your belly. You're just like, oh, I cannot wait for this to come. When is this 9 o'clock going to show up? And that's how I've been feeling since last night. Actually, that's how I've been feeling for a couple of weeks, knowing what's about to happen. Because to be honest, I'm sick and tired of seeing good people like you and I come online and waste money, waste our time, spin our wheels, and never get the fruits of our labor that you so deserve with all the hard work and dedication that you're putting in. And tonight, I know for certain that we're definitely going to solve that. Eric Chai, what's up, my man? Just going to say hello to a lot of people that are coming in. I know we got people from New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, the UK. Please give us a shout out and let us know where else that you're tuning in from tonight. Right now, we should have about 90 people there's 90 people inside phase one, and I will be very surprised if we get 80, because you know how people are, they miss things and blah blah blah. But everybody that's here, you're going to be thanking your lucky stars that you showed up, that you made the effort, you stayed up late, you said screw it, I don't know, I don't care what's going on, I don't care what I'm going to miss, I'm going to make sure that I'm on this webinar because I want to see what's about to happen. So we'll just give another couple of minutes here of everybody coming on to get inside this group. Right now we have 65 people on the webinar, and so far we only, so guys, we need another 30 or so people to get inside this group so we can get your cleat as possible.
So I mean, you know,
Let's open up.
this webinar was it was something that we wanted to do on our own, and you know, come on, man, I'm the #1 income earner. Toby's done ridiculous things with Layla. We're like, we can handle this. So it took a lot for us to be like, you know what, we can do this. But I think if we do something, if we take a different approach, we can have a better, seamless product or service for our teams. I mean, this is why we're doing this. We're doing this for leverage. And, you know, it's been over a month, you know, and we're looking at traffic and we're doing some stuff. We're going to be teaching some stuff. We want to fast forward and kind of show you the stuff that we're doing so you don't have to stub your toe on it, right? It's kind of like avoiding pain. And we want you to avoid pain, right? But you know what we're going to do is we're going to show you we are you're fortunate enough to know that Toby, myself, and Layla have a very good connection with the special marketer that's about to pop on, and you know we just want to be able to take you down this path of where we really wanted to over deliver, and we wanted to be in a position where we coming in new, what would we want? What would we want? And we love done for you things. And I think the technology that we had initially that we had set up, it wasn't enough done for you, I guess. And we wanted to over deliver, regardless of the fact that we actually charge nothing, which is I think is amazing. I mean, we actually charge nothing for our services, and we were working around the clock. But we want to show you some stuff.
Yeah, what what cracks me up is we're a couple of $1,000 an hour earners, and here's us working 10, 12-hour days for free, trying to figure out the best way to do this stuff. So, guys, and what you'll develop in your marketing career is what you'll see is marketers like us, like you. We always have these great ideas. Like these ideas come across as like a lightning bolt, and we know that everybody involved is just going to have a blast, so much fun, make lots of money, and just have everything that they've ever wanted. But then when we take this amazing idea and we go to the guys that actually have to program it, design it, and put everything into what we see on the internet, they're like, oh, no, that you just can't do things like, no, that's not going to do. So for 2.5, 3 weeks, we went around scouring the internet, trying to figure out what to do here, what to do where, what to do here, and just were raking our brains. And that's why you guys didn't see any traffic coming in with the $500 share that you purchased, because we didn't want to just go out there and waste your money. We didn't want to just go and find a traffic source that wasn't trusted. We didn't want to put it for a funnel that wasn't tested. We didn't want to put it in. We didn't want to just throw money out there and see what happens. We wanted to make sure that when we rolled out the system, that it was ready to go. It was beautifully made. It was tested. It was tweaked. We knew where the traffic was coming from, and we knew it was going to be a hit right out the park, right out the gate. Now, guys, we have 50 members in here, and there's 70 people on the webinar. So the 20 people that are asleep right now, if you could please come over to this Facebook group and put yourself in here. I think we'll start when we have 60 people, so 10 more people. It's facebook.com/groups/magic or magic traffic machine. This group is not just going to be used for communication through tonight's webinar. This is going to be used for communication through all of our webinars, and you're going to get to see what we're going to be doing monthly with the different promotions that we're going to be rolling out to basically get more money in your pocket, help you build your business, and do more done for you shit as we possibly can. So we got 9 more people. We need 9 more people to come in here and to step it up into another level. LT, let me ask you, are you excited right now?
Man, it's kind of like the days when, I only had I wasn't making a lot of money, and Black Friday actually meant something, because that was the one time a year I'm like, I'm about to buy me a TV. I'm about to get me a TV. I'm going to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go wait in line to go get me a TV. I mean, now we'll just go buy a TV. It's not a big deal. But that's what it felt like. It's like, I'm waiting for the advertising. I'm going to see who's got the best deal, and we are going to have a plan of attack to go buy some stuff. That's what I kind of feel like.
Buy some stuff.
It's legit, cheap. And I was talking to Toby, like, we have this money. We want people to really succeed with it. Now, I mean, obviously, $500 really isn't a lot if you really think about the grand scope of things. I just bought $7,000 worth of traffic, yesterday. But, I'm going to put myself in the shoes of a new person. A new person's like, I want to buy a cheap TV. I want to save $25 off of $200. I can understand that. And so we're trying to really over-deliver and give you that Christmas, Black Friday kind of thing. Like, you won. You have the last TV kind of deal. And we wanted to put that all together so we're in the corner. Because we're marketers just like you.
You got a golden ticket. I see some familiar names in here that I know aren't a part of the Master Co-op, but
so how'd they get in?
It's cool to see you in here anyway.
That's pretty ninja.
We're always scheming. We're always scheming, trying to figure out what's going on. All right, guys, 2 more members, and we can kick this bad boy off. There's 1 more member. Who's it going to be? Carol. Congratulations, you are the member that kicked us over the edge. Awesome. So we're gonna rock and roll. I'll keep accepting people. Lawrence, you keep accepting people as we keep going here. But let's rock and roll. We are the kind of guys that will not hype up and BS the beginning of a webinar. We don't want to fluff it, fill with all the crap. We want to get straight to the turkey dinner. We want to get straight to the stuffing, straight to the good bits, straight to the juicy stuff, and just trim off all of the crap. We are about to bring out a man that has had a major, I would, without a shadow of a doubt, for Layla and I, say have the strongest influence in our marketing career so far in our past 3.5 years that we've been online. And I'm sure Lawrence is pretty well up there too. In many occasions, not just like a one-off, we went to an event of his, or we read a blog post from his, or we got a course from his, or we met him, or what, not just a one-off time. It's been numerous occasions that we have caught him in different stages in our career. Just coming out as the young bucks, making no money, but extremely hungry, saw his stuff, flipped, like just blew our mind. We implemented it, we started getting results, came back and, we're following all of his stuff, buying all his courses. And then when we were at about the $6,000-7,000 a month income level with that mindset, we went through all kinds of other different courses, and then it immediately expanded our mind even bigger. And then we started making more money. And then I'll flat out tell you, a product that we released, when I released it, when Layla and I released it, we were doing about a 1.5 to 1.7 lead to upfront sale, which is still pretty good. That's all right. After one of this guy's courses that I sat through all night, I remember purchasing it about 10 o'clock at night, sitting all the way through till 7 o'clock in the morning, and then redid all of our sales material. The first day that we relaunched it, it was like 5% lead to sale, and then it came down to about 3.5% just from one course. And again, that's just Layla and I's personal story. On many different occasions through our career, we've been able to have Daegan's experience, his wealth of knowledge, his style of teaching, and just his flat out, genuine, authentic approach to helping people get to the next level. Lawrence, I want you to definitely share your experience with Daegan.
Internet. He was one of the first guys I saw. He had a shirt that said, I'm retired, don't ask me a damn thing, or something like that. And in him, like, sitting on the bar, I'm like, really? And then, like, it's just hearing his story. Like, he was the first person that actually drove storytelling. But no joke, true story. I'm the #1 income earner in an affiliate program, and I utilized one concept that I physically bought from this man. When I say bought, I was at a point in my life where I wasn't making more than, say, I think $4,000 or $5,000 a month, and I'm like, I need to take the next step. And so I asked him, like, do you do any type of coaching? I flew to Hawaii, did some coaching. I took one idea, and I told him, I don't know when I can use this or how I will, but I mean, I'm so busy, I'm still part-time, maybe in a year. Use this one concept, propelled me to hit #1, and I've done about over $500,000 in that other affiliate marketing business, all from this man. And so I do account my success to launching that idea. I shot 2 videos talking about this central idea, and I learned it from my first actual mentor that I sought out, and was like, dude, this guy knows more than I do. Let me just put my pride aside. I need to take it to the next level.
And it's a beautiful thing, guys. No matter what level you are in your business right now, whether you're brand new, just getting started out, whether you're generating 10 leads a day, whether you're making a couple of thousand a month, maybe you're making 10, 20,000 a month, the content that's about to be shared, what we have in store for you guys is going to just radically transform that to the whole next level. So without further ado, I know a lot of you guys have guessed who we're about to bring out, partner with, Mr. See, he's so good, he does the anticipation build up.
Sorry.
Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah. You guys are kind of cutting out on me. First off, always humble, man. You guys, I like you guys because I get to brag on you all the time, right? I get to say, yeah, these guys over here, they're just, kicking ass. And I remember when I taught them a couple things, so you guys need to continue to keep on kicking butt. And, all I can say is I'm happy to be here. And I guess it's kind of me fulfilling my dream to kind of be a part of your story and to be here tonight. Toby, I remember, and I had totally forgotten about this, by the way. Way back, I think it was at a seminar, Live the Dream 1, maybe. And I was in a room with Mike Dillard, and we were talking about, we were just kind of fielding questions. And I remember I didn't remember this, so I went back and I looked at the video, but you were like, yeah, should you be sending emails every day? You're like, what are you supposed to talk about in those emails? I'm like, man, just send an email a day and forget about it. And now,
I know.
Now here we are. And Lawrence, man, I remember being on the phone. It probably was literally like right after that same event. Yep. And you're like, man, you really think I can make? What was your goal? Like you're trying to make like
do 10 to 12 a month, and I was making like 5 to 7.
Yeah, and I was like, that's the easiest thing in the world. And you were like, really? Now you would say, yeah. Now you kind of get me, right? Now it's not that big of a deal. So, guys, I'm just honored to be here and to play a part and just to support. I'm here to. I love what we do. I love everything about this industry. So, yeah, I'm here, ready to rock and roll. Which way are we gonna go?
Up. Oh, I can't wait. Well, guys, no matter how long that you've been on the internet for, you know that mainly it's about one, you do not have a list. A prime example of this, a lot of you may have seen that over the past couple of weeks, Lawrence, Layla, and I were terminated from a certain company, which was our primary company. Layla and I were doing about 30, 40K a month. Lawrence was doing about 20, 25K a month. And then to have that pulled away or just disintegrate overnight, gone, poof. For 99% of people, they would have probably had a heart attack. They would have stressed out. They would have been absolutely crazy. Like, holy shit, 20K to over just under $250,000 a year income has just been taken away from me. What am I going to do? And because we have a list, because we follow trainings from guys like Daegan Smith, because we follow what they do and we implement it, because we generate leads and build our list, we were able to, without hesitation, without even batting an eyelid, just swoosh from one thing to the next and be able to replace that income right away and then beyond that income right away. So tonight is going to be all about the one thing that you need under air, and that would be having a list.
Yeah. So guys, what I want to say, as soon as you say like this whole list thing, what I think about, I mean, it's not that I'm thinking about the times when I've kind of sent an email to my list and had it make, a few $100,000 or whatever sort of big numbers and things like that you could say about having your own list and really focusing on what it means to have your own list means not just to your business, but to your life. What I think my mind immediately goes back to, and I don't know if this is just how my mind works, but all the negative things, like all the things where, oh man, I remember when I had that business and it got taken away. How did I get back? How did I start over again? And it's exactly what Toby says. Well, I went back to the list, right? I remember when this thing went bad. What did I do? Ultimately, everything that has been something that has saved my business. So if you were thinking about insurance policies in life, there's no better insurance policy financially than having your own list and knowing how to develop a relationship with it. And on the flip side, there's no better asset because what's the best way to say this? Compared to things like real estate or the stock market or anything, and I don't mean to beat this into the bush, I don't know any investment that is as liquid as a list, right? Like you spend a couple $1,000s, put some people on your list, and immediately you're going to get some of that money back. You might not break even immediately, right? Like I think with Empower, the value per lead is super high, and we'll talk about all that economics and stuff. But over time that money's going to come back, and anytime you want. Here's a good example. We did a webinar. I think I sent out a couple of emails just literally earlier this week to my list, right? And I said, let's do an event, and had 1,200 or so people register for that event. And out of that event, we had just a small little thing we were doing, but it's going to turn into $50,000 or $60,000, super easy, without much sweat. And so I guess what I'm getting at here is something that everyone already knows, is that at the end of the day, it's all about the list and your relationship that you have with your list. And over the last 8 years, it's been very apparent, very night and day like, the difference between the people that have succeeded and those that haven't. Those that haven't, of course, they didn't focus on the list building. Those that have had absolute meteoric success, it's been all about nurturing, building, and asking, how can I leverage my list to a higher level? How can I take care of my list? How can I be cooler than anyone else in the game to my list? And so tonight, as we get into this stuff, I'm not really even going to share like just the mechanical, here's a cool trick. I really want to get into like the emotional impact and just sort of the real lifeness of what this is about. Here's one thing I was talking to a friend about yesterday, about wealth creation and list building and all these sorts of things. I remember a couple of years ago, and it was before, Toby, I met you, or Lawrence, I met you. It was when I was just getting started, maybe 2007. And I had figured one little thing out with my list, and literally, with absolutely no effort, it turned into about $20,000. That's cool, whatever. It was the first time that I had made double 5 digits in a day. And I remember that after that happened, I didn't feel any different. But I remember like walking out of my house and going around the corner, because I live here in Washington, D.C., so it's urban, city-like, and go to the corner store to get a Gatorade. And sitting in line with the people there and noticing and just thinking to myself, today I just made $20,000 because of my list. None of these people know that. It's the most gangster thing in the world to literally be able to just, it's like you're a celebrity with and it's like an ATM machine if we want to be crude about it, but it's like all the best sides of living the lifestyle of the rich and famous without the negative. It is the ultimate physical tool to creating freedom. And so it really is that sort of powerful. But if you could just imagine, like, just $20,000 stay standing in line to get a Gatorade at the corner store. I mean, you're just some dude sitting at the coffee shop today. Whatever we're doing, I think Jason and I were going through numbers, and we've done lots and lots of money. But you sit there and you think, like, no one knows. It doesn't matter. It's so secret. It's like your own insurance policy. It's your own just wealth creating tool. It is the most valuable asset any of us could create. It saved my ass so many times. And every time I get better at understanding what it's about and leveraging it to a new level, so does my bank account grows. So list building is awesome. I'm going to be quiet about it, and we'll dig into it. And I'll just follow you guys' lead. This is just badass. If you guys can just take away, list equals wealth, right? Or list equals freedom. Just some simple, powerful, like Paul says, list building equals a powerful asset. But it's more than that. It's like your list equals freedom.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
It does.
Personal, like just this year, talking about losing that income from a traditional network marketing company when you're not groomed to build a list, but the company's lists. They want you to send people to their company capture page so they can capture their information. Well, when I left that company, I didn't get that list from them, you know? And, I was doing about, I don't know, 50,000 a month combined with everything. And I looked at my wife, I'm like, most people would be like, that's fantastic. But guess what? They just took a chunk of that away that I was building for 8 months, 10 months. What do we do now? Because that's a lot of sweat equity we put in that. And she looked at me, she's like, just go back to what you were doing before and just focus. And so I believe the 2 months after that, combined, personally, I think I did over 200,000 in a month. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, if this is where it needs to be, building a list, building relationships, I no longer have, no sponsor is ever going to tell me, hey, I need you to go talk to your friends and your family because we have a great opportunity or product. No one's ever going to tell me that because I don't have to rely on that at this point. And that was due to educating myself on, well, if you want to sell something or if you want to build a team or if you want to build a business, you attract people to it. You actually run a business. And so that list saved my butt. I mean, really, if it wasn't for that, you understand, Asians and money, like Asians in total, but Cantonese people, they rate basically education level and money as like, look at my son, he's rich. Look at my son, he's a doctor. Like those are the two measuring factors. When you take someone who is 100% Cantonese and you take 20 grand a month from them, it's not an easy thing, but I understand. I had a list that I was building for years. I had a safety net. And so it's kind of like when I got laid off from my engineering job that was paying me, I don't know, like 75, 80 grand a year. Every engineer there was like, they're like looking for another job and they're depressed. They're calling their wife like, honey, I just got laid off today. I call my wife. I'm like, hey, book me a flight. Let's go to Vegas because, there's an event I want to go to. Like the next day, I'm like, we're like ecstatic. And then I called Toby and Toby's like, for real? So it's kind of like you don't ever have to be in that situation. I mean, put it this way. I've been laid off 2 times this year. And both times I made more money after I got laid off. So it's kind of like you gotta have something that you can look at and like, you know what? You are my best friend. Your list is your best friend.
I want to share a story before we move on here, guys. I want to share a story when some of you may have known about, I don't know, almost a year ago or so. My mom had a really bad tumor scare in her brain, and from the power of a list, we had to raise I think it was like 30-something thousand right away, like overnight. And because like Layla and I, we were able to give my mom and dad, a big sum of that, but because we had spent 2 years or so building a list, but more importantly having a good relationship with that list, more importantly caring about that list, and more importantly caring about their well-being and where they succeed, we were able to send a few emails and have a couple of friends jump on board with us, ended up raising the remainder of the money that we needed in order to help my mom go and get this emergency surgery. So that's something that, think of how, just for a second, think about one of your loved ones right now. If they have ever, or in the past, if they were in a situation where you needed to raise money, and think about how it could have been different if you had this well-groomed and fine-tuned list to use as your tool to help them out. And think about right now, maybe because you never know what will happen in life, maybe something, heaven forbid it doesn't, but maybe something does happen. And now that because you're a part of this magic traffic machine, you're going to have your list building for you. We're all going to be moving together or moving forward together. If something like that ever was to come up, you're going to be in the place that we were in, where we were able to send a few emails, raise the money that we needed, and without a one word of a lie, save my mom's life.
Lifesaver. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, man. The other thing I was just thinking about this whole thing, and I always like to show some stats. So I guess when, excuse me, when I show some list building stuff on how to really leverage it, I'll show you guys on the inside of my business. But one thing that's cool about list building, and if we want to think about it this way, is like it's the one thing you can invest in that you can never break, right? You can buy a TV, it might break. But I don't know, I've never sent anything to my list that broke it. It always just kept producing results. bad email, good email, horrible grammar, great story. Eventually, it just always keeps giving. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And if you think about it that way, it's kind of it's ridiculously powerful in that you can't break it. You build it, you interact with it, you play with it. Like Lauren says, it's your best friend, and you can never break it. And all it's going to do is give you money. That's a pretty cool thing to be building in your life. So,
Let me I'm gonna throw you the screen here, Daegan, if you want to grab it so you can dive into some of this some of the list building math and take people through the process if anybody doesn't know, the steps into building the list.
yeah. Okay, cool. So just I guess let me know when, and I will take people on a trip down memory lane. Now, we didn't get a chance to really ask people. Let me know when you can see my screen.
We can see it.
Okay. We didn't really get a chance to ask, who here has a list, who here is like, shut up, I already get this, and who here's just beginning, and now they get that they need to focus on it. But what I wanted to start with was, if you're one of those folks that hasn't really focused on building a list, and you're like, well, yeah, you have some big, huge list, and I don't have any list, and I can't do anything. I really want to ground us at the beginning in that, it all starts somewhere. And for me, it started back in October of '02. For some reason, I said, I get it. I think I need to start building a list, right? October 2nd of 2005, that's the date. And 112 people, right? 107 people, excuse me. And from there, every day, this is my old list. This is my old autoresponder. That list is just built. And I mean, it's kind of cool to see 107 people. Now it looks like we're getting from up to 11,000. We're into a year later, so it's August 21st, 2006. Let's go up here. Looks like we're getting up to, oh, look, we really jumped there. So I must have sent out to all of my lists on that one. There we go. We're growing. I'm saying right here, we're probably right around 16,000 if I'm sending to all the lists. So by the end of that year, up to 16,000 on that list. And if we keep going, all you're going to see, 16 plus. Let's keep going up here. We kind of plateaued around 16,000. Nothing to be ashamed at. Nothing to be ashamed about. Are we going to get past 16 yet? No, not. Oh, yeah, I think so. Let's see. Yeah, 17, right? Let's fast forward a little bit. Now we're over 20, 22. Let's go a little bit farther. 40, right? 20 to 40. In 08, we're at 40. Now, boom, all of a sudden, we go from 40 to, we're looking at 112 people on the list. And here's the thing, I mean, let's go back to the beginning. It all started with 107. So no matter where you are, if you start today, you can build a list that's going to create freedom for you. And it's really that relationship that you have with that list that's going to create that freedom. Like I said, it's something that you can't break. And if you want to model something that's successful, you want to start with, well, what's the thing that's completely constant? What's the thing that hasn't changed in a person that's successful getting the results that you want to get? What's been the same in their business? One thing I've just shown you in my business, and our business today, I was just looking at our stats for this month. This doesn't include wires or checks, but so far this month, our list is, and it's, there's some declines and stuff, so it's not 100% accurate, but it gives you a feel. And about halfway through the month, we did about 233,000. What's the one constant? Well, let's look at our list that's current here today. So today, this is our list. This is our dedicated autoresponder. We don't need to get into any of that. But so far this week, if we just total everything, 13,000 new leads in the list, 727. Let me actually refresh it. We might have a little bit more. So 740 here, 720 there, 110 into this list, 15 here, 15 there. The one thing that's constant in any successful direct response marketing business in our industry, it's all about the list. And so these are just some of the things I really wanted to show. Here's another thing. This is actually the last thing I really want to show before we dig in. When we walk through kind of the different components of list building to create a list that's going to produce results for a long period of time. This is our stats a program. It's called HyperTracker. And not that HyperTracker is great. This is just the one I've had that's kind of the oldest at this point. I've had some in the past. But if we look kind of over here, let's see. Well, actually, let me figure out which column is the right column. All right, clicks. All right, cool. So if we look right here, these are all the clicks that we've gotten. These are all the leads. So looks like in this deal, we've got about 1,000,000, or am I right on that? Yeah. 1,033,312 leads. Now I paid a pretty penny for those, right? Like I paid, and I've got to figure out where the cost is again. Revenue, sales. So one of these is cost. I believe this one's the cost. We paid about $1.25 million to build that list, right? Now, some of the things that we're tracking here are free. Some of the things are paid. That list has generated about $3.9 million. Million people, $3.9 million. And in profit, over the usage of this particular tracking, and of course there's some SKUs, but just to give you a feel, it's over $2 million, right? So I guess what I'm showing you here is that, we've been building a list, spending money on advertising, and building a lot of leads. Toby, you asked earlier, right? Like how many leads have I generated over like lifetime of the biz? I'm not sure exactly, but like this is in this account, this is what this looks like. But it's a pretty simple equation. Build a list, you're going to spend some money to build that list, and you're going to make a profit, and you're going to get a net profit at the end of that. You spend some money, you can create gross results. Out of that comes your net profit, and that's how you create a free lifestyle. Do you guys think this was helpful to kind of show you guys these things? And I always like to give you guys a true feel for what's going on in my business. Where I started, again, one last time. List started like this. I started like everybody. I said, this is cool. This makes sense. I remember this is where I started with list building. I was in a network marketing company. And this is why, Toby, man, I give you guys all the credit in the freaking world. Doing that stuff traditional style. I was buying leads, calling them, and getting rejected. And all I was doing was spending money. It wasn't working for me. It wasn't my style. I was no good at this. But I had this little list of these leads. And one day I decided to send an email to them. And where I had made absolutely no money at all calling these people, I was just getting rejected and painfully rejected. I send one email and I get my very first commission. It's like 80 or 90 bucks. That's where the light bulb went off for me. I think we all have that moment. That was mine. And that's ultimately what led me to start to build this little list. And it's been kind of game on ever since. So the three parts of list building, if we want to get this right, you need some way to capture leads, right? You need what's called a lead capture page. We're going to share some stuff about that. You need some way to communicate with the list. So email marketing, stories, all this sort of cool stuff. And you need traffic to get people to opt in so you can tell them stories so they can buy stuff. And so if you get those three things right, the ultimate result of that is only revenue coming your way, results coming your way, and a very immediate, very direct response sort of a fashion. And that's what I really want to, at least for me, in terms of what I can share as we continue on, want to give you guys the best of from my perspective. So I want to see in the group, can you ask and see if people are more excited about list building now or less excited about list building now? And just so I can get a feel for where we
Shoot, I'm excited.
are. Oh, maybe I should add. Yeah, let me do it. Who's excited? All right, just give me a click, a like on that bad boy if you're excited. Who had that light bulb moment just now, right? And I guess as I'm just kind of being a little bit nosy, who here has a list, and who here's focused on building a list compared to who here is like now just saying, all right, now I get it, I'm going to start doing it. Give me some of your list building experience. I want to hear everybody's list building unvirginizing moment. That first commission, what was it? What was it like? The list is a cake, no doubt, player.
I'm jacked up to see that list that's got the commas in it. I know a couple of people mentioned that it's a beautiful thing to go to your autoresponder and see some commas in the size of your list.
Yeah. And when I was over in Singapore with one of my buddies and students, a guy named Jazz, he's one of the best guys who speaks, like does live workshops, and it's one of the reasons like I want to do more of that myself. I really love the way he puts it when it comes to list building. If you get to 100,000 people on your list, you're financially free. It's over. And so if we want to get people like a goal that they can like literally sear into their head right now, you make your goal to build 100,000 person list, you're going to be financially free. You're probably going to be making millions of dollars too, but you're going to at the very least be financially independent.
And what everybody has to grasp here is my list total. Layla and I's total list is just under 40,000. Lawrence's total list is like 35,000. So guys, with Daegan's expertise in list building, with Lawrence and I's story building that we use and all of our techniques, it's just going to be absolutely crazy because obviously we just broke the 100. Lawrence broke almost the 200,000 mark in a month, and our list is really still really small. So we're all going to go through this process together. I'm really excited to see where we all get to.
1 year ago, my list was 8,000 active.
Yeah. Love it. It's so awesome, man. The webinar I did a couple days ago was with a guy named Matt. And Matt was a student, and his list went from Lawrence, like the same size as yours. Maybe he had 12,000 or 11,000 to like 108 now in the last year. And last month he did like $315,000. Right? So it's always it's a simple positive correlation. Build the list and the money will grow. And his story is just, he went from nothing to that. So anyway, as we move forward, guys, and it's awesome that some of you guys, so small list, keep building, keep it building. Francois, is that how you say it? Romeo, keep on building, son. Paul, first commission. That's right, man. The first one is like, I always think of like being a biz op guy, like being in the home business arena. I was talking to a guy named TJ Roletter. Guy's made $150 million in the last 24 years or so in this industry. And he says, man, this biz up stuff, it's like being a heroin junkie. It's like being like a freaking drug addict, Like the first hit, you're like, it's pretty cool. Now, I'm not a drug addict, so I don't really know. But the second time, that's when you get addicted. And I know that's what that was like for me. I mean, that first time I got a commission, I was like, that was cool. Free money. The second time, now I'm all in. It's just fun. So, Toby and Lawrence here, I'm going to shut up, send it back to you guys because this is not my show. I'm just having too much fun. So,
no, we love it, bro. We're so, I'm kind of like giddy schoolgirl right now that we're actually doing the webinar with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Daegan Smith. Because I don't know how many hours I've sat listening to your hypnotic voice on a webinar, just taking crazy notes, being like, and this is a total realization for everybody sitting on the webinar right now, no matter what size your list is. When you're sitting here listening and seeing the results that Daegan's been putting together with his team, and he's share the value that he's been sharing. Just sit there, absorb it, take furious notes on it, but implement what you're listening to. Because Layla and I sat and listened to all Daegan's webinars that we could. We'd get all of his stuff and we'd implement it that night. We'd take action on whatever he told us to do. And now, lo and behold, just a couple of measly years later, doing 100,000 plus a month on this webinar, actually doing a joint our webinar with them. So it's really, really humbling, guys. And dreams definitely do come true as long as you just take the action and follow the steps that everybody is giving you here.
Yeah, if you want to, like, just a quick kind of rule of thumb of, what is the worth of a list? Um, you know, I was taught back in 2007, the worth of your list is probably per active subscriber. You're looking at about $1 per active subscriber. And
per month, right?
yeah, so,
Yeah.
that's pretty true for me because before, Empower last year, I had about 8,000. I was making it anywhere from 5 to 10, but average about 7 to 8,000 a month. And that's what I was making. I had an 8,000 active subscriber list every month. I was probably making about 8,000. That held true for years. I would have about 5,000 before that, and I was making 5,000. But really, I got to a point where I just couldn't really break through because there was just certain things I just didn't know. I didn't know how to tweak certain things. I didn't know how to type my conversions up. I didn't know how to do storytelling. I didn't know how to do a proper capture page. And, knowing $1 per active lead, that's the rule of thumb. But you gotta understand. I mean, I did almost 200,000. Actually, I think I did over 200,000 last month, and my active list is only 25,000. I think 26,000 right now. So I did about $4 per lead. Now that's not probably gonna hold over time, but we're always grooming, monetizing. We're always trying to produce more value to our list. So I would say average. If you look at someone's list, it's about $1 per active subscriber.
Yeah, that's pretty much the industry standard. And the cool thing is we won't be able to get to all the different stuff you can do with your list, but the more ways that you can leverage that list, the higher that number goes per month. And so there's really more intrinsic value there than that. It's just, if you want to tell some guy off the street, if you build a list and you learn just sort of the basics, like you're learning how to bowl, and then you can kind of bowl and it goes just straight, but you're not great, that's the dollar mark. But if we were to go into I don't even know our math this month, but let's just say it's more than $1. It's several dollars per person on that list, and it's just as you get better. So it's the gift that keeps on giving, right? So let's get into a few things in terms of list building. First off, I want to say this about Toby and Lawrence here tonight. They came to me and basically said, we've got a group of people that we really want to make sure that they don't just thrive through the opportunity that we're working together in. We want to make sure that as their business, as our business grows, everyone's business grows. And that's kind of what we've always learned from you, Daegan, when it's come to co-ops. How can we do that in the best way? And that's kind of what got us all thinking and brainstorming together. Everything was about, in terms of what we're going to explain tonight, how can we give you guys the absolute best to make the most money, so you can, of course, if you're thinking like me, go back and invest it into building a bigger list, right? So that you can create this asset that keeps on growing. So I just got to commend you guys on that. And with that, you guys want me to do some teaching, or do you guys want to do some teaching? Because for me, it's pretty simple. It's 3 steps. Lead capture page, right? You need one of those. You need some emails, and you need some traffic. I guess the easiest way to put it would even be like traffic, lead capture page, just like the front door, plus emails, plus traffic equals money list. You're going to make money from your list. So which way do you guys want to go?
I mean, we can just interject a couple of things, but I'm listening, I'm learning. But I don't know how most people came into the industry. I sent most things straight to an offer, straight to the company, capture page, their capture page, or straight to join their opportunity, or go and buy this vacuum cleaner. I didn't even know I had to capture a list, and that was kind of the eye opener for me. I was like, wow, I actually own something now.
Yeah, you do. And it's you own it for life. Sorry, I was just checking a message real quick. Um, all right, so I guess I'm going to teach here. I'm going to start. Here's what I want to do in terms of starting here. I'll go through the lead capture page part because I want you guys to get a feel. First off, let me share this. Let me share this about list building. There's two ways you can build a list. You can build a list slow or you can build a list fast, right? And there's traffic. People like to think about traffic as either free or paid. You've probably heard that there's a cost associated with list building, regardless of whether or not it's free or paid. It's either your time or your money. If we want to build a scalable business, really, we want to build that list with speed and have that money come back to us as fast as possible because we can reinvest. How do you create wealth? This is one of those things, these questions that I pondered for a long time. And then when I got it, it was super simple. Number one, reduce all debts. Number two, invest aggressively in your highest ROI asset. And the speed at which you will create wealth is a speed of return and recycling of your ROI. So one of the cool things about building a list is that, especially in the way that we're going to get into it, is, let me put it like this first. If you look at, for instance, people that you would say, oh man, that guy knows so much, or that guy, he's a marketing expert, or man, if only I could be so cool as that person and make as much money as they do. And you're looking at their business and you're thinking about that person as being better or have more skill than you. The reality of the situation is not that. The reality of the situation, when you look at people's businesses that run better, more efficiently than your business, it's just that they have two things: financial efficiency and agility. And that's what speed is about. So let me actually use a different one. So efficiency. How much of every dollar that you spend do you get back? Like if you make money, do you get all the money that you get as revenue into your business, or do you get part? Now, if we're talking about affiliate programs where people give you like 40% or whatever, that's not very financially efficient. When you look at things like Empower, extremely financially efficient. That's a truly powerful way to grow. Agility means how quickly you get that money. Why can't I spell efficiency? Efficiency, right? That's it. Oh, such a bad speller.
Me too.
There we go.
It's the E, not the.
Yeah. Is it? Efficiency, how much of your money that you make do you keep, right? Agility, how quickly does it get to you? When you look at the people that seem more successful, all they've really done is they've turned their money over faster than you have. They've gotten more of it back and they've reinvested into their business faster than you can. When you can do that, you can gain more experience and build a better, more efficient business that creates more wealth for you at the end of the day. And that experience will show, but it's not that that person is better or smarter than anyone else. It's just that they've moved faster because they put themselves in a financial situation to be able to do so. And so everyone here kind of has that power, right? Everyone here has that power to do that. Tonight is all about leveraging that power so that you can create wealth faster, leveraging the list a little bit better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
There's a little tangent, but it took me a long time to kind of get that. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Let me see if that makes sense. I want to check in with the group. Yeah, I love all the
Everybody's
feedback.
just blown away.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, the first commission, loving it. Actually, I want to hear some of these stories later. I know we don't have time for all the stories. Um, you guys got it?
Wealth creation. It's man, that's good. That's good. I'm taking notes.
It's super simple. It's all it is. All we're doing is turning over money. And so, how much do I get back? Hard to become truly wealthy, where when a situation where you get a small piece of the money, and that money is doled out to you in a method in which you don't control, and it's over long periods of time. Easy to grow wealthy when you get all of the money that you made, and you get it as quickly as humanly possible. You can make more mistakes and make up for those mistakes a lot faster. And as a result, you just accrue more wealth. The ROI goes up in terms of, if we want to think about it that way, on the investment. Return on investment is what ROI means. That's how you do it. Get rid of the debts. Invest aggressively. And that's how you do it in an online marketing sense. Financial agility and efficiency. Cool. All right, cool. All right, guys. So you want me to go through the lead capture page stuff?
Yeah, because I really love your evolution of the capture page, and basically every capture page that's ever worked for us or for Lawrence, we stole it from you anyway.
Yeah. And so the cool thing is, like, Toby and Lawrence and I are creating all these things. All these things that we're sharing with you are ultimately becoming the done-for-you system that they're putting together. And the advantages of that we'll get into in just a little bit. But the front end of your business always starts with the lead capture page. Now, my lead capture page is this. This is what it looks like right now. Let me first pre-frame this by this number again. We spend a lot of money. Okay? Spend a lot of money on traffic. We test a lot of different things. And so what people will do when they come to a page like this is they'll say, well, that's pretty simple. What they don't see is the evolution that got us to what this current control is within our business, and the sort of psychological rationale for why it is that control. So what I'm about to do for you, if we can frame this, is I'm about to give you at least $1 million worth of spending and testing on this one key leverage point in your business, this thing called a lead capture page. And I'm about to give you the knowledge that you get after you spent $1 million and you tested a whole freaking lot. So take some notes. This stuff's really valuable because the more traffic you put at a lead capture page that really converts and lets the right people in, the bigger your list grows, right? And so that's the first part of the equation if we want to become really profitable and live a good life and be able to take care of our family and friends based off of our list. All right. Now, you're going to have to excuse me. This is like you go into a person's house and it's like, it's not exactly totally clean. It's like, it's okay. Let me clean up a little bit. I've got these different links, and this is what I call the evolution of the lead capture page. They're not exactly in the right order. Put them up here, and then we're going to organize them in the right way. And then I'm going to tell you what happened. And what you will get is an understanding of what gets conversions. Oh man, please don't start playing.
I love that video. See, guys, while Daegan's organizing this stuff, guys, I want you to know that LT and I, along with nearly every single person that you kind of know is like a bigger name in marketing, has at some point and still blatantly ripping off Daegan's stuff. And that's okay, because Daegan knows that the only reason everybody's doing it is because the shit converts so well. And the only reason we're doing it is because you know that everything Dagan does so well. And that's the beauty of marketing, guys, that it doesn't no matter if you're doing direct mail, whether you're doing solo ads, no matter what you're doing, you never really come up with a brand new idea. What you do is you take that old capture page, you take that old idea, you take that old initiative, but then you transform it into what's relative today. You transform it into something that no one's seen before in that light. And that's exactly what we're doing. And I'm so thankful right now that everybody on this webinar is getting $1 million education just by showing up to the webinar. I mean,
I have made some hideous capture pages, which I think are they have been they're in the black hole of the abyss somewhere. Like they're just horrible, and being able to leverage knowledge where why reinvent the wheel when we don't have to. When someone has tested something over and over and over again with money, you pay attention and you watch, and you'll notice. A lot of it stems from what Daegan has done, and you'll notice that it's legit. It works. I've been cracked on a lot because Lawrence, you don't create anything. You don't really innovate anything. It's like, yeah, because I'd rather just use stuff that works. I mean, it cuts the short. I shortcut. What I want to do is I don't want to innovate. I just want to use what works, and to me, it's a time saver. So what we're going to show you here is, I mean, just thousands and actually millions of dollars worth of testing.
No, yeah, literally millions of dollars worth of testing. So here's the thing about this guy. Like, modeling is awesome, and the cool thing is, from my perspective, I'm like the old man in the game. Is I physically get to see you guys move way faster than I did because you're starting from like now, present, what we've got, with the right mindset to get to the next level. Whereas I kind of had to, just kind of fiddle around until I got a couple, I get it now, I understand. So it's awesome to see that. It's awesome to see what you guys are up to. So now that I've got the house in order, at least somewhat in order, you guys ready?
Yep.
How many guys do we have?
This is one for the short amount of people. We got 77 members in here. This is one of the most active Facebook groups I've ever seen, and active webinar participants. That's awesome, guys. Commend you for it.
Because when Daegan speaks, people listen.
Shazam.
You guys ready? I want to get some feedback. Let's see. How many folks we got in this room? 82. Awesome. So 82 people are here. I want to get, I'm going to be tough on you guys because of what Toby just said. You guys are super active. So prove it. Give me like 60 responses and we'll go through the evolution of the lead capture page.
That's all the fee that Daegan wants for that $1 million education that's coming. He just wants 60 likes. So
yeah, and some of you guys can be lazy and not pay attention. You can watch TV. You know what I mean? You can Twilight, whatever that movie is, it is coming out. You can like daydream about seeing the new Twilight movie or whatever. So there's a little wiggle room. We've left a confidence interval for you. Let's see what we got. Oh, man. All right, 26 plus 42. Toby, when you say something, you pretty much mean it. I mean, look, we got literally, and I'm always kind. I'll always say, I'll add the two, even though I know that, there's some commingling going on. We got over 60 already. That was pretty freaking quick. It's probably the fastest I've experienced, and I get a little bit mad because when I do webinars, people don't respond that quickly. So you guys all come to my webinars, make me look good. All right, so let's do it. Thank you guys for that feedback. What people don't see is that over a period of time, this right here evolved into this. Right? Why? How? What lessons were learned along the way? Well, first, we're working within a paid traffic world. I like free traffic, but it doesn't let me grow my business as fast or give me as much control over my business as I like. So I tend to put my money on the line to build the business and the lifestyle that I want to. So think from the standpoint of things being paid for and me sending traffic and my hard-earned money at these pages. Now, when I started my business all those years ago, which I'm actually closing down, and we're not letting any more people into it, which is next chapter style, this is what the lead capture page looked like. This is where it started. Now, instructive. Where did the traffic come from that we sent here and we paid for? We sent traffic from things like pay-per-click marketing and banner ads and text links, and also newsletter, email marketing. These were basically our major traffic streams back then. Now, probably 50% or greater of our traffic came from places like Google AdWords and the different pay-per-click engines, Bing and Yahoo, and YouTube promoted videos and things like that. All in all, for that type of traffic, this is the type of a lead capture page that you might want to set up for yourself. And the reason is if we think about, and this is, unless you've been on a training with me, you might not know this. When we're talking about paid traffic, there are two types. There's what you call fixed cost and what you call performance-based. Fixed cost media and performance-based media, right? So a fixed cost media would be, we pay X amount of dollars for a banner ad, and whatever happens while that banner ad is running happens. Like you're not getting any wiggle room. You're just paying for it, and whatever happens happens. That's fixed costs. Performance-based media, I think everyone would be pretty familiar with. In that world, we're talking about things like pay-per-click marketing. The best examples are things like YouTube and Google AdWords and Bing. Facebook is somewhat of a hybrid in between fixed costs and performance-based. Now, the mindset that you go into these two types of traffic is completely opposite of one another, okay? And I think you would see why. In a performance-based media world, where it's pay-per-click, we're only paying for a click at a time. What we want to do is actively discourage the wrong types of clicks and the wrong types of people opting in, so that at the end of the day, we pay for the least amount of clicks and we get the best leads possible, so that our ROI ends up being the highest. If we want to think about this in the world of sports, so we have a really concise analogy, what we're thinking about, if we're thinking about performance-based media, is we're thinking about, and this is actually one of my favorite sports. When it comes on TV, I always start laughing and drinking tons of beers. We want to think about performance-based media as like a game of darts, right? Whenever you see darts, and I always love it when I'm in like Scotland or London, or just somewhere in the United Kingdom side of the world, and you sit down in a bar and you watch on TV, and they have this game of darts going on, and these guys, they used to let them drink, right? They don't let them drink anymore, because I guess that's like poor sportsmanship. But it's these two like fat guys that are probably, I don't know, in most cases 40 to 68ish, and they're just like throwing these darts at a board. And if they get like 3 double 20s, that's like 180. The whole crowd goes crazy. Like people are drinking. Like, have you guys seen darts? Have you guys seen like the World Championship of darts? It's normally like Australians and Scottish people and and people from London, right?
Oh, it's awesome.
What matters in that game of darts is precision. All right? Think about another game like darts. If you haven't seen darts, the professional style, the height of the height. And I like darts because I always think to myself, man, if I really let myself go, like, right, like if everything goes to shit in my life, I've still got a chance at darts, you know? I can hang out in the bar, I can play darts. But it's a game of precision. It's like pool. The other type of media is fixed costs. We pay, and whatever happens, happens. And so what we want to do is we want to strategically, if we pay $5 for something, we want to get the most out of that $5 that we possibly can. So we want to get the most out of our resources that we possibly can, knowing that we spent $5. We want to think in a sports analogy about this type of paid traffic. We want to think about this as another one of my favorite sports, also involving fat people. It's the sport of sumo wrestling, right? Sumo wrestling, two 400 to 800 pound guys stand on a line. The referee or whatever that guy in the middle is called goes, hey, and then they just charge at each other. And one guy's got more strength and more speed and just more just pure force than the other guy. And as a result, he wins because the guy gets pushed out of bounds or lands on the floor. Now, these are two totally different mentalities. This is what I want you to get out of all this fun craziness, is that if you try to play a game of darts with the mentality of a sumo wrestler, are you going to win? Yeah, there's a little bit of a chance, but probably not, right? I mean, am I right or am I wrong?
Right.
Right? And if you try to stand up against a 400-pound sumo wrestler with the mindset of a darts player, are you going to win? You're probably not going to win. You're probably just going to get ran over, right? And so we want to understand this. This wasn't in a book. This is, I just kind of had to get after a while. So this is definitely something worth writing down. You don't have to worry about it because Toby and Lawrence and I will do it all for you at the end of the day. That's what this is about. But if you understand this, it's going to pay dividends for a long period of time because you're going to look at advertising if and when you want to spend money, and you're going to say to yourself, is this fixed cost or is this performance-based? If it's fixed cost, I need to act like a sumo wrestler. It's performance-based. I need to be precise and really discourage people on my process because that's how I'm going to win and make the most money. That's going to serve you for the rest of your life. That simple little lesson. Now, I went through all that just to share with you at the point in time when our business started, most of our traffic, more than 50%, was coming from YouTube, Yahoo, Bing, and Google AdWords. This is a good example, not the best example. I'll show you the best example in a little bit, if you guys remind me, because I had to shut it down because it was making too much noise. This is a good example of a performance-based media lead capture page. Right? It's long, there's lots of words. People don't just like opt in, they try to read this, they try to read all that. Then they come down here and they like try to get the story. And they're like, I don't know, do I know this? I already know this stuff. I don't really want this. I'm not going to opt in, right? So if they think they know, they'll go away. That's great. We can pay less. We can figure out where not to spend more money. This is where we started. Well, over time, it's at that time when video marketing becomes kind of the new craze. And I decided to test a video lead capture page compared to my text-based one. And lo and behold, I do a little split test. It sucks that Google AdWords isn't Google AdWords is fine, but the split test, Website Optimizer, isn't available anymore. So I can't show you the stats. If I used to be able to, they just like erased all my stats. But I did a test between this page and the other page, and the video page killed the previous page. People like video. Okay, let's move to video. Now I start playing with the video, and I start saying to myself things like, well, this video, if it was here, you'd see it. It's not there. It looked just like this one. Whatever reason, this player is still working. In the video, we already have a headline. Do I really need a headline on top of the video? Well, what I found out is no. What actually works better is this. Just the video and the opt-in. get more leads, better quality leads. Now, if you're doing things like pay-per-click marketing, this is the point where I want to share with you just a little tidbit. It's this one, the one that I had to close down. If you're doing something like, let me see if I can find this link in here for you guys. This was one of the coolest split tests I ever did.
Getting the juicy bits now.
Yeah. A little bit of the juicy bits. Sounds dirty.
Like,
let's see, where is this one? There it is. So, with my YouTube channel, I did a lot of YouTube promoted videos. So this was the link that we use, maximum-leverage-system. It doesn't matter. All you need to know is I tested lots of different lead capture pages here. By far, if you're doing performance-based media, YouTube promoted videos, and that sort of traffic is like the best. All right, so if you want to go in that direction, that's what I would recommend. And I tested all these different versions of the capture page in that media. I tested this one, I tested this one, I tested this one, and I tested not that one. I tested one that I'm going to pop in here. I tested this one. Whoa, this one. Where'd it go?
too many tabs.
There it is. There it is. Right there. Okay, so that is what I call the hybrid page. I'd shut it down because it's making too much noise. That and this were the two striking winners in that arena, in that performance-based arena. And by far, that gray background page was the one that got us not necessarily the most. And let me see if I can pull up those stats now. Where is it? I'm going to go in here. Let's just go by target URL. Go back to like 2008. It might take a little while for this to key up. By far, though, that gray page, it didn't get the most opt-ins, but conversion into the biggest dollar amount per sale, we got the most money and the most money per sale from that gray page with the video on it. So if you're in a performance-based media, that's the type of page you want to use, and that's the sort of testing that we got way, way back in the day. The stats hopefully will come up. Oh yeah, it's thinking. Ah, here we go. Perfect. So what we were doing, and we kind of let this, after a while, we just kind of went with one or the other, but you can see right here, the index hybrid and the index no headline. Dollars, so 6,000 for that one, about 9,000 for that one. This one won because we were using it for a specific reason. But in terms of pound for pound, which one got us the most dollars per sale? Index hybrid, and at the point before we switched over to this one was the winner for revenue. So it's really instructive to see that not only does the lead capture page that you choose affect how many opt-ins you're going to get, it also affects how much money you make at the end of the day. And so we want at the end of the day use the tool that gets us the most money back. Because remember that equation that I gave you guys, right? Financial efficiency, financial agility. Well, efficiency means getting more. That's a good idea. So we want to use a tool that gets us the most money at the end of the day at an expense to conversion of leads in a performance-based world. That's the sort of caveat. That's the sort of strategic difference, the fine-tuning point that you want to make. And you got to be able to track and see this stuff. So that's why I kind of share this. Is that valuable to, even though it's a little bit of a sidestep in terms of where we're going, I think it's valuable to see and to know. Good. So you see, these are just differently capture page, and they're drastically different amounts of money per sale. These are not over a ton of sales with some of these, but enough to really see that there's a difference, right? Difference between 145. Actually, no, this one got the most per sale, but it sucked in terms of dollars. That's why I didn't get any farther. Somewhere between $25 and $145 per sale. Cool. Which one got us the most money? This one. All right, go with that one. All right, so that's it. Everything matters. Structure, format, psychology. Now, things began to change. The world became harder and harder and harder for people to do pay-per-click marketing. We switched the majority of our business over to things like pay-per-click marketing. And quite honestly, like newsletter marketing over pay-per-click marketing. But even before we did, what won, but compared to this and all the other video pages I shared with you, was us changing our page to this. It killed it, even with pay-per-click marketing, just in terms of straight getting leads. Now, what is this? It's like a logo, and a headline. For years, we couldn't beat this control. All the different things we tried to do didn't really win. So this was like our lead capture page for a long time, and for a long time, this was stolen. In fact, you guys will see lead capture pages that look like this out there. It's someone that stole an older version of mine. And the cool thing, the reason why I don't care if people steal my stuff is because I know we're always making it better. So like most people are stealing like an old version, you know what I mean? Without the rationale. And it's the thought process that matters the most. So we start testing stuff, and then all of a sudden we do one version of this deal, no logo at the top, and it gets more leads. All right, let's go with that one. No logo at the top, more leads. Badass. We start testing different background colors, and all of a sudden, blue beats out straight white. But by far, if I had stats, this would be ginormous for you guys to see, is gray beats blue. Gray beats blue. Now, this is going to play big into this in a moment. So this test, when I did it, it won so fast versus the previous control that I didn't believe it. I went back and I tested it again, and it won even faster. So if you want one thing that will automatically just straight up give you more leads, make your background gray. If it doesn't, excuse me, if it doesn't, call me a liar. So I figure out that gray is what it's all about. And I start to think that, all right, I get this. I think what people really want is they want to feel like safe and secure. They want like, they want to feel like, okay, there's a right sort of authority here on this page. So I start testing different stuff, testimonials, images, product images, all sorts of stuff. And I feel like, you see these pages with banners that are like MSN, NBC, ABC, USA Today, BBC. These pages, like, all right, they create some sort of credibility. Let me give it a test. Let me give one of those banners a test compared to my control, and let's see what happens. Well, what happens is this banner at the top, and these aren't exact matches, guys. This was a version, and there was a couple versions in between, and we got to here. This version, compared to the control at the time, like, just died. It was horrible. It got like half as many conversions. And I was like, all right, well, people don't like MSN. They don't want to think that this is seen on MSN, ABC, USA Today. And I thought I was being smart. I was like, oh, they're going to think my page is so credible if I put this stuff on it. But what I learned from this test, in the fact that it lost so bad and so quickly, was that we underestimate our prospects a lot of time. They looked at this page and were like, this is clearly going to be a scam. I know it's going to be a scam because this dude has all this, MSN, ABC, USA Today. I'm out of here. That's too weird for me. I don't want anything to do with that. So crafty. They're like the Roadrunner, right? The Wile E. Coyote's out there trying to like create the best trap. And, clearly the Roadrunner sees it. And it's like, all right, well, it's not going to work. I'm too smart for that. Tricks your prospects don't like. Next, I start to test versus control that's kind of like this one. Things like if the MSN and all these as seen on emblems don't work, what other sort of a way can I use to create a feeling of safeness, right? And I say, well, those security seals that you see, those are trust guard seals. That is a sign of safety and security. Let me test those on the page. I really thought that this was going to do well. Turns out, did not. This lost again. And so everything I did, including, you see this little arrow? That little arrow right there decreases leads. Right? So anything I put other than a headline, an opt-in, and a button, for the most part, less leads. So our control is basically a headline, an opt-in, that's it, and a gray background. What I came to find at this point, guys, and I want you guys to write this down if you haven't heard me say this before, is I really got the feeling, the psychology for what people were going through as they were coming to all these different pages. What our prospects are like is I want you to think about a thirsty deer out in the forest. And it's in the forest, and within its vision, it sees a pond of just pristine, clean water. Now it's thirsty. If you're a thirsty deer, or you see a thirsty deer that knows where the water is, does the deer just jut to the water and start drinking it immediately? No. It looks around. It's very pensive. It wants to test the environment. And if anything is weird, even to the slightest degree, it's out of there. That's exactly what your prospects and my prospects are like at the point at which they meet you on your landing page. Anything weird and the gig is up, they're out. So what you want is a completely cool, calm, and collected environment where there's nothing weird. It's just the way in. Now, the only thing that matters is this headline. So how thirsty is the deer is going to determine how likely they are to walk over to that pond. The analogous scenario for your prospects is how much curiosity does this headline produce for your prospects? The more curiosity, the more likely they are to opt in. Now, here's what I want to point out, and I want to show you guys a really cool headline, and I know everyone's going to steal it immediately because of this audience. Here's what I want to point out first. Most of the time when we're talking about the capture pages, what we see out there is people say you got to give something away for free. You got to have a report. You got to have like a DVD. You got to have something. And what I found is that does nothing in this fixed cost media world but get you less results. The only thing that matters is curiosity and congruency to what's going on within your path. If you got a cool, calm, collected environment and you've got a highly curiosity-provoking headline, you end up with a lot of leads. Now, to go from here to just here, we're not to the end yet, there's a lot of subtle twists and turns, ideas that I had to kind of think through to understand this. And to just come to this page and say, I'm just going to copy it and that's the magic, you don't get it. You'll get the results for a momentary period, but you won't get the experience-based sort of wisdom that you're going to carry forward as an asset. You can carry forward as an asset. You have to be in there. You have to be testing. You have to have someone that has been there. And these are pretty hard lessons to learn. Now let's come to current. And then I'll show you at the end the most curiosity-provoking headline we've ever created for anyone in their business as a client. Now, our current lead capture page is this. Why is it different? Now you can see there's a couple things that are different here. Number one, this makes that page even more cooler and calmer, right? If we take our logo and our privacy policy and all that stuff out of the white space, now it's even cooler. We don't have any more to look at. It's just whatever this process is. Now, the last thing that I learned about people is that we like and we feel safe and drawn to what I call certainty, uncertainty couched inside of certainty. Remember, our prospects like a thirsty deer. They want to feel safe. And so if they know that there's a beginning, a middle, and an end, is that safer than not knowing what happens next? It feels safer to know that we're going through a stepwise process. And so, believe it or not, when we install this 3-step process, Bob Dole's Peanuts, 1, step 2, click next, and then finally they got to click yes to get in there. When we install this 3-step process, this gave us a bump of about 11% in terms of our conversion. Sometimes breaking things down and creating steps, knowing, and I can only make that leap, right, to create steps if I already know the psychology about what's at play on this page. It needs to make them feel safer from a psychological standpoint. And so this is what I call the evolution of the lead capture page. Hopefully, this has been pretty valuable to you. Not so much just the page itself, but the sort of psychology that is at play at this point. That's what I want you to take away. And if you take that away tonight, you start playing with this, I'm just excited to see what sort of new iterations you can come up with that I can steal from you. So that's kind of how I want to be rewarded. And that's how we got here. Now, for the lead capture page, the most curiosity-provoking lead capture page we've ever created. Oh, it's not that one. All right, I know you guys want to see this, so I'm not going to disappoint. It's getting a little late, so I'll move quickly, and I'll get back to y'all.
Hey, were you just on the front of that website?
Yeah, this is my deal.
Oh, yeah.
It's our Easy Tracker Pro. I'm not only a client, I'm the player president. I hope I logged in the right way. We'll see here in just a second. It takes a couple seconds, so bear with me, guys. Bear with me, guys.
Oh, you've opened that loop up. Everybody's hanging on the edge of this. Sure. I am.
You know, here's a super advanced subliminal deal when it comes to loops and whatnot. If you notice people, so if you guys know what a loop is, so this is actually good, and I got a little bit of ADD, so as I'm trying to get you guys in here to show you this, I'll give you another little tidbit. Why do we love shows like Lost and Heroes? The reason that we love shows like Lost and Heroes is because they create what are called loops. These situations that stop right before we get the resolution. Life and death. Oh my gosh, that person just got shot. They're the main character. I think they're going to die. Do they die? We don't know. It cuts to a new scene, and then we got to come back later to figure out what it is. Well, in marketing, if we create loops like this idea that I kind of embedded, I guess, as Toby pointed out, if you leave a loop open that's like really cool for people, like if you ever notice, like if I speak on stage, I might say, I just got married and things are awesome. If you guys remind me at the end, I'll tell you the story of how I proposed. But I'll never really get to telling that story of how I proposed. What I've just done is I've opened a loop that's kind of like subconsciously sucked people in through the whole thing because they're waiting for that resolution. So we get more responsiveness, more attention, more consumption of our story and sales message and all that good stuff. So from a getting people's attention standpoint, it's actually a good thing to leave some loops open. Like if I just said right now, I promise I'll show you guys this at the end, and then I didn't show you, you guys would watch to the end. You know, I would increase the chance of you watching till the end. Is the best way to say it. And as it relates to lead capture pages, when we create that uncertainty couched inside of certainty idea, I think, I'm not sure if it's this one. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, yeah. This lead capture page right here, I think got like a 70% opt-in rate, something weird. And I think you guys will probably get what it's about.
When I actually stumbled, I don't know where I stumbled across this the other day. I can't remember where it was, but I saw it and I almost fell out my seat. The headline was so good. It was in the airport. We were coming back from Florida. I don't know how I found this page or one of the pages. I'm like, holy shit. That dirty dog. That's the best headline I've ever seen in my life.
Disgusting drug addict and filthy homeless hippie find $2 million and give it all away to people just like you. Want to become a cash recipient? Oh, yeah, I do. There's just so many like weird things in there. You got to opt in. You got to see what's on the other side. And so this is just me giving you guys a demonstration of that psychology. We've set the stage. And so clearly you can see I created that before I got to this, and because it wasn't mine, you know, I'm not going back and updating stuff. But before I got there, if I got this to this level, I bet it would convert probably like at like 76% or something weird, you know. But that's it. It's like cool, calm, collected environment, and something like weird and so curiosity provoking that it can't be ignored. Disgusting drug addict and filthy homeless hippie. What are those guys doing with $2 million, and why do they want to give it to people like me? You know, like, anyway, guys, that's my lead capture page evolution. Hopefully that was a fun lesson. Let me see. Did you guys enjoy that? So, again, let me just stress all this weirdness, this geeky marketing stuff that I've kind of made my life. In terms of the co-op and creating a system for you, this is the stuff that Lawrence and Toby and I are going to be putting our fiendish minds into making good on for all of you. If, who knows, maybe we'll just start with that headline for what you guys are up to, man.
I know.
It's a good control. It's the best one we've had.
Start out with a 70% converting capture rate.
Yeah, man, that thing's crazy. I got to go find the email ad that went with it. But yeah, we can start there. And that's just like, it's not really fair.
No, it's not really fair.
All right, so we need three things. We need story. We need a lead capture page. We need to have a conversation, and then we need to get some traffic. So what I want to do is I want to turn this deal back over to you guys, because you guys are pretty badass storytellers and email writers, so that you guys can share some learning on that, because I got to run to the bathroom anyway. And then I'll come back and just interject back into the situation. Fair deal?
Fair.
Show. Lord,
right.
Do you want to pick it up?
Yeah, man. I was just I don't know most people. Most people like get popcorn and watch a movie. I got like popcorn and was watching Daegan.
There you go.
Let me pull up a text editor.
The bathroom is not an open loop, guys. I really am going to go. I'll be back, I promise. It kind of is open loop. We'll see. Will he be back? I don't know. Well,
yeah, you got it.
Okay, man. I mean, the story is here's the deal, man. I mean, that's a pretty cool story to have a headline, and we always talk about things being congruent, and to have a headline talking about a disgusting drug addict, and then having a homeless person give away money. It's just like, well, I want that money, and so here's some of the stuff that we were encountering, and we wanted to do for you. Number one, we were doing our own lead capture pages. You can see me drawing, right, Toby?
Yeah, we can see, bro.
So you have this lead capture page. And so we wanted to get traffic. Traffic being, okay, people pump money into this, and then we'll go and do this lead capture page. And then, we'll do split testing and whatnot. First roadblock is, well, number one, I mean, we're utilizing some technology that's not the best. And so we were looking, how do we increase conversions on our lead capture page, which then deposits, really it goes into two different places. Number one, it goes into a sales page, and then it also goes into your email autoresponder. And so if we don't do this right, if this lead capture page section right now if this isn't right, you actually don't get any of these benefits of having people look at your sales page or your email page. And so we're like, okay, look, we have traffic, we understand. Well, actually, before we have traffic, you actually need money. I was like, well, if we can get money and help people in our teams understand, well, it's not as hard as it seems. Money then goes into traffic goes into a capture page, and then it goes into a sales page and email. We were doing capture pages that we thought were good. But we were looking at it, it's like, you know what, we can do better. And so we were talking, myself and Toby and Layla were like, who does good capture pages? So it was kind of a no-brainer. It was like, well, who has good capture pages? And now you just saw the evolution of a capture page. We've been borrowing his stuff. We say lightly borrow, but maybe just copy. So long, it's like, well, why don't we just use his capture pages? And if we use his capture pages, pump more traffic into it, will our conversions go up? And I don't know if there's anything in terms of marketing that's more assured or more of a slam dunk than knowing that you have someone who has been testing with over $1 million in pure traffic buys through capture pages. I just felt more comfortable leaving that with someone who does it for a living, right? I don't do it for a living. I just do other stuff, but I don't do capture page testing for a living. And so this was one critical area we were looking at. Traffic was another critical area we were looking at. And the email series was another critical area we were looking at. And so we were brainstorming, like, we could put together a system, get traffic, throw into a capture page, and then have an email series. And you will make, it will equal an X amount of dollars. But we all know we want more dollars. We want more dollars. We want more stability. And we want our teams to produce faster, harder, stronger, But here's the deal. I mean, we wanted to be more forward thinking. All right. And what does forward thinking mean? In our relationship between Black and Tam, I am what you consider the cautious one, right? I'm the guy who has issues releasing money. Like, I don't know if we should do that. Like, I'm always the one telling Toby, and Toby's more, let's go do it and let's test. And I'm more of like, I don't know if it's a cheapskate or frugal. It's just money to me is a thing where I grew up with it. I don't like to release it unless I know it's good. And so we went on a journey to do everything in this, this system we call it Chrono Marketer. And it was, in our opinion, just maybe someone else looking at it would have been great, but we thought it was just okay. And I don't know if we're okay with having just an okay system. Here's the next thing. Having an okay system, we were doing capture pages, but there is, I don't know, Toby, do you want to talk about, what we were seeing kind of happening with the traffic we were buying? But the thing was, we were seeing issues with, traffic going to a capture page that most, I would say, I don't know, I don't want to put a percentage, but let's say a high percentage of them weren't even accepting a certain type of capture page. And that's all we knew, So instead of trying to tweak and test and get around that, we wanted to think outside the box. How can we be forward thinkers to having a long-term successful career in internet marketing? I think it comes from differentiating yourself from everything else and everyone else, because, if it works, we can test it and we can grow by, small incremental percentage gains. What happens is you get a big percentage gain after a long period of time. But why wait a long period of time when we can just work together on getting more of this system integrated together so it talks together, right? And so what we were just thinking is this, there's advantages of a lead capture page that we had created, but I don't like the word the saturation level. But there were vendors who said we're not taking that capture page. You know what I mean? We're just not doing it. And um even
And we're gonna we're definitely gonna get into that in a little bit about the major epic advantages that everybody has on the line being an Empower network and using what we're about to release for sure. Because you're totally right, LT. We were going to different traffic sources and they were blatantly saying no, we're not taking that. So that was kind of one of our issues. And then LT hit it right on the head there. He said, okay, if we're gonna put capture pages together, and then we're gonna get traffic, and we want to put the email sequence together because obviously the golden sequence is the second step in list building, having that email follow up. If we're going to do all these things for our team so they can make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, why not go to a guy who's an absolute genius, who everybody in online marketing
You're a
opportunities,
genius. I just got back.
yeah, who everybody looks up to. Why not go to him? And it was kind of like fate. We sat down, we had a little conversation, and something sparked from there. But we'll talk more on that in a couple of minutes here, guys. But let's lead into the second step of the golden sequence, which is the second step inside the list building. And this is when Layla and I were writing our follow-up emails in the beginning, before we understood story selling, before we understood open-ended loops, before we understood how to get the golden sequence right, it was about 5 or 6% of people that were opening our email. Even in the beginning, when we didn't have really that big of a list, where really you should be cranking out 20-30% people open your emails, we were at 5 because we didn't understand these principles. And then we came across guys like Daegan. We came across some other courses, and we rather than just base all of our email follow up around the features of what we were selling, the unique things about what we were selling. We then started to talk about more about the benefits. We then started to get more vibrant and more robust in our email follow-up, and that's when we started telling stories. We started basing whole 2, 3, 4, 5 email sequences around a mini story. And when we started to do this, this is when we saw our open rates go from 5% to hover around 17%, up to about 24% pretty easily. And we weren't working any harder. We didn't do anything, crazy rocket science. We just learned a couple of different techniques, mostly from Daegan, and we implemented them into our emails. And that's when we started to see that we could launch with emails. We didn't have to do all the other crazy work, which, guys, let me just say, for taking advantage about what we're going to offer up here tonight, you're bypassing so much shit. Daegan just talked about years and years, millions of dollars just in the capture page testing and tweaking that he's done. Think about the testing that he's done, the learning that he's done in the email sequence, in the golden sequence of follow-up and story selling. So we're actually being able to bypass years and years of that, millions of dollars, tons of testing, and just a total university degree, PhD, MBA, in story selling. We're bypassing all the learning curve and going straight to the juicy bits. And that's when we were able to, when we put these techniques into action, that's when we started to notice massive results. So what everybody on the webinar tonight is going to be able to do is basically step around the years of painful learning and go straight to, again, just like the capture page, go straight to the golden sequence that actually converts and gets things done for you. And we're actually going to be selling for you at the same time. It's going to be epic.
Yeah, so can I ask you guys, what's like the customer value in like Empower?
It goes from anywhere from $250 all the way up to $700.
So $700 per $25 customer. If we split it in the middle, like that's like $500 per $25 customer, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty badass. It's very strong, because there's, with the conversion rate at that low level plus that value coming through on the back end, there's a lot of room for a lot of people to do really well. So I really commend all what Big D&D are doing. And I don't know if you guys brought this up while I was gone. Everything that you guys are talking about is spot on. What I'm excited about is like both you guys have badass stories, like Toby, living in the basement, and Lawrence, getting fired, getting laid off, like me, and all that sort of stuff. There's just all these cool things that we can use in terms of your stories to lead the pack. But me physically owning an ad agency, we absolutely get bombarded with people saying, "Hey, will you promote like Empower?" Right? And the truth is, our publishers have seen it so many times that they're like, "We can't do this right now. It's too much. You're not going to get your value back and we don't want to sell you advertising that isn't going to work for you." Right? So, and I might be jumping the gun with what I'm talking about here, but I just wanted to get into this. I've always been innovative. I've always been proactive, or at least I've learned to be that when it comes to being an entrepreneur. And what that means to me is that I'm saying this, guy, straight up from what we're saying, and Jason would say the exact same thing, is that we see a lot of people just trying to like hammer what's already there. And it's been seen so many times. It's oversaturated. That's opportunity if you come at the situation from a different angle, right? And so part of what we were talking about and what we're going to create is a real-time sort of dynamically changing, let's call it a funded proposal system, using a model that I call the invisible funnel. And I'll get into that in just a moment. But if the world of traffic that we would consider the most responsive traffic and we have special relationships with to get it at exceedingly at wholesale prices and all that sort of stuff, is saying we won't allow you to do this because it's too much, whatever, it's not going to be worth it to you, it's not going to be good for our list. Well, let's do the opposite, right? What if we always come at that industry, which has a ton of traffic, with a different story every single time, yet at the same time creating a process that's building your business on the back end. And so what will happen in this proactive sense that we're speaking in here is where other people will kind of lose speed and sputter out and not be able to continue on. Your business and this is why, like I said, when we started out, what Lawrence and Toby came to us with was, so like, let's just get as much traffic as possible and convert as much of it as possible. And I kind of said, what I'm sharing with you guys right now, if we're always changing and we know it's always story based and we're always going with the marketplace, but at the end of the day, the same things happen. People are joining and everyone's leveraging everyone else and creating income. You have sustainability forever into the marketplace. And so what Toby and Lawrence are getting into a little bit, and I guess we'll dig into a little bit more. I'm just sensitive about time. I don't want to keep everybody here really, really late tonight, is this idea, this sort of front runner, let's go the opposite way and take advantage of this opportunity in terms of what they brought you guys together. That's what we're talking about is I've always found in my business, when I zag, that's where we really win. Doesn't look like a win sometimes at the beginning, but ultimately it's always where the big win is. And this is zagging, this is evolution, and this is how to keep the dynamic growth going. And plus, people, if we do this stuff right, if we tell the right story, we do it in the right way, we use all our weird little sort of psychology, and I guess sort of, I don't know, the things that get people to desire what you have, to bring people in from different angles, and everybody makes money in the process. It's a beautiful thing. And that's what this is all about from my standpoint. So back to you guys. Didn't mean to interject so long.
No, I think you're right. I think we should definitely jump into unveiling what it is we're putting together. We get people, the capture page was great education. We kind of touched on the golden sequence. Everybody knows the email follow-up. And then obviously the third part to building a list is buying traffic. And obviously, with us partnering up with Daegan, years of experience, millions of dollars spent, we're going to get the best of the best. So yeah, let's dive right into what the magic traffic machine is going to be, and basically the initiative that your idea that you came up with, Dagan, along with Tam and I. Let's dive right into it. I think. Well, let's go to Facebook and see if everybody's ready for it.
Let me get back to Dagan.
No, I kind of like you guys drawing stuff. I'm like watching.
Ivan in color.
Yeah.
All right, swoop over there to Facebook and let's see if we still have everybody's attention, if they're ready for what the initiative we're rolling out here.
Get Franco, man. I'm checking out Franco.
I know.
Yeah, check the technique, man. I'm
Tam,
writing
you
them.
wanna get over to Facebook so we can see.
Oh, sorry about that.
I know it's getting late. We're gonna be respectful of everybody's time, guys. We just want to make sure that we still have everybody's attention. What did we say? You said 60 last time, right?
60 people. That's what I said. Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's 65. We need 65 people participation here to move on to really release the magic traffic system and show you guys what we're really, really excited about.
$23 plus 12. We still have 81 right now watching.
We're halfway there, guys.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
What are we at? 53? 12 more, guys. This is a fast group. I think Layla's got a tall wheel.
Mm-hmm.
45 plus 21. 61. Or 67. 68.
We're there. 69. Oh, my favorite number also. So, we obviously knowing that the major thing online, the major asset, how to build that $1 million business on the internet is developing that list. And then we just went through the components of how to do that. And then we were looking at, okay, what's the best way that we can, like Daegan said, we came to Daegan and said, we got a bunch of eager team that want to come out and just crank it out. What can we do to get the most amount of traffic and the highest conversions? Because again, we were just going to roll with what we knew and what we had, but then we were running into roadblocks. So that was a major disadvantage. And what a lot of teams are going to see in EN is because when everybody's trying to buy all this traffic up and everybody's using the herd is using the same pages, this gives us a really, really good window to joint venture and partner up with a legend like Daegan to use his expertise and his knowledge with our knowledge and everybody together to create this almost hybrid, evergreen, organic system that's always something new, like Daegan was talking about. So Daegan's going to touch on the invisible funnel system and how it's going to really help all of us, because what we're about to see is just going to be absolutely mind-blowing, that we're able to take this process of the invisible funnel, intertwine it with story selling, get more money in your hand along the way, and then back end everybody into Empower Network. It's going to be amazing.
So in a nutshell, guys, what the invisible funnel, this concept is for me as a marketer, just to kind of selfishly share my perspective before I explain it. It's one of the most exciting things in terms of a marketing discovery that I've come across since I've been online. And what it's based on is what I would call anti-selling, right? No one likes to be sold, but we all like to buy. Well, how can we engineer our funnel such that we remove all of the selling and give everyone, create a desire in everyone such that all they want to do is buy? And what this is, the way that we do this, the mechanism, is what I've termed the invisible funnel. So how it works, it's not going to make sense for you right now. That's okay. Just keep your mind open and listen in. In a tradition, first let me say this. This idea came to me when I was sitting at lunch with a good friend, Russell Brunson, who's a marketer, smart guy, does well. And we were talking about weird marketing stuff. And we were so deep into the conversation that we got up after that lunch and we were at a seminar. We went back into the seminar room and we looked at each other about 10 minutes later and we said, oh man, did you pay for lunch? I didn't pay. And we were like, no, we didn't pay. Oh man. We ran back into the restaurant out of this feeling of guilt, this feeling of need to pay. Because we were served a good meal and we're trained to pay for value after we've received it. And as soon as I got that, I said to myself, I said, Russell, man, I got to do this. How can I do this in my own business? There's got to be a way for me to get my customers to run back and pay me because they felt that they'd been delivered value and it was wrong not to pay for that value. In the restaurant, it's a meal. It could be a steak, a sandwich, whatever. Well, in our business, what that value is content. As an example, now I didn't come in here with any pretense to ask anyone to pay for anything, right? But if I had said, and I had shown you guys this whole lead capture page evolution concept, and I showed you how to create one yourself, and I gave you my lead capture page. And I said, if you guys thought this was worth it, I'd love it if I'd humbly accept your business if you wanted to pay for it. If not, that's okay. What would happen is people would happily pay because they'd been delivered value. And in that context, us as human animals, we've habitually learned to pay for value once it's been received. All right, well, if you guys can get that concept, what I did was I went back to my business and I tested that compared to a traditional sales letter. I had this, not sales letter, but sales video, and then this thing, and if I guess I can pull up, well, no, I'll leave it on your screen. If you guys can go to, what's a page? One of these things so they can see what they look like. I'm trying to pull up a page, so just give me a second. I'll give you guys a link.
The infusion one?
No, I'm looking for one of my invisible funnel test pages so that people can see what these suckers look like. I'll be back. If I can find this thing. Here we go. Here goes an example. So I'm going to send this to the group and I'm going to post it in the area. Now, guys, don't fill out this form. Don't go through it. Don't do any of that. I just want you to see this for structure. So, actually, Lawrence, you have the screen. I'm going to send this to you through GoToMeeting, and you can kind of show everybody. So I'll just send this to organizers only. You'll get it, and you can show it to people. I did this test where I took one of my highest converting sales videos, and then this new concept. What if I just let them pay me after I've delivered value? And what I found was, by removing all the sales and delivering value first and saying, was it worth it? And if it was, just, we love your business. We out-converted our top converting sales video, excuse me. I don't know why I keep saying sales letter. And if you saw that there was some thought process that went into the evolution of the lead capture page, the sales video is a point of sale in your business. So you can only imagine how much thought went into making our top sales video convert at its highest. Here I come in with this little simple page, no sales, just sign in and we'll give you some value. And if you like it, you can pay for it. And it just crushes my best sales video. Every single time I use this model, it outproduces anything that I've ever done. what I buy is speed and flexibility, right? If I don't ever have to come up with some elaborate sales message, and I can just kind of say, I've got this value to share, come get it, and if you like it, pay for it. I can do that over and over and over again, right? So this is the basis, the core of the invisible funnel. Now, what I found once I got that piece in place was, how can I get people to, if I could get people to really desire the value that I have to give to them even before they pay it, that's just going to get me even more results. So this is where this whole storytelling thing came into play in my business. Toby brought it up. And I really started to study storytelling because if you can tell a story well, what happens is, and you'll notice this the next time you go to the movie, is when you're in a good movie, your mind, you're not inside of your own head anymore. You're inside of that movie. You're in there with the action. You're totally immersed in that story, right? So if you can harness the power of telling a good story, what happens is your prospects' minds become immersed in that story that you're telling them. Well, if a prospect's immersed in a story, there's no resistance. There's absolute trust with the characters in that story to the point of complete identification. And what I mean by identification is, if you're watching a movie and there's some perilous thing happening to the main character, and you feel that peril, you're identifying with that person. You're not just trusting them, you are them, right? You're going through the experience with them. So you've removed all the resistance, and now there's so much trust, your prospects are actually identifying with you. In that place, if you do a couple things right, you can install a really good idea into the minds of your prospects that if you just tweak it a little bit, it'll create an intense desire for the realization of that new good idea. So if I say to you, there's a simple way, and I tell you a story about this, and you get it from all the different angles. We don't have time to do it right now. But I've told you a story about how I created absolute, unequivocal momentum in my business doing one simple thing. And you went through all the ups and downs of my life that got me to that one idea, and all of a sudden, poof, here it was. And where things didn't work, all of a sudden, everything worked. In an instant where I was trying my hardest to make anything happen, and all I got was less than worse. All I got was everything taken away from me and hitting brick walls. And all of a sudden, one thing changes, and all of a sudden, the sky is open and riches fall towards me. I tell this to you artfully in a story. First off, you want to know what that one thing was if you wanted to create momentum in your business. And if I tell you what that one thing is, and I let you see it from all those different angles, what you'll want to do is realize the results of that one thing yourself. So in other words, if I told you that story and I said that one thing is running a co-op, right? Then you'll say, I need co-ops in my business. How do I get involved in co-ops? How do I make sure co-ops are part of what I'm doing? Right? Now, what do you desire more than anything else in that moment in the story? To understand and leverage this power. And so then if you just say at the end of that story, and tomorrow I'm going to teach you how. What I found is if you tie a story, it's incredibly powerful with this whole only pay me once we've delivered value and only if you think it's valuable philosophy. It's the most powerful 1-2 punch in the world. But there's one last piece to it. What happens if you tell a story that creates a lot of desire that a person wants realized in the worst way immediately, and then you say, okay, let me give you that. Let me give you that steak. It's right here. It's the best steak you've ever had. Enjoy it, and at the end, if you like it, pay me for it. And it really is the best steak you've ever had in your life. right? In information sense, what if you over deliver and you give more great training than anyone's ever gotten before? And you did it for free before a person gave you a dime. You just fulfilled completely on trust to a level that most people have never experienced. They can walk away, get massive results, and they feel like you're the one that gets them. And it's true. You're serving them in the way they would like to be served. Now, what happens at the end if you say, remember all that cool stuff that I just showed you? We'll do it for you. We'll set up that capture page for you, specific for you, and we'll even work with you to make sure that you get the results that you want. If you want that, just send me an email and tell me about why you know this is the right move for you. What you're going to get is all the people that are the most action-taking people of the entire group selling themselves on why they need to work with you. Now, what did we just do? We told a story that created desire. No selling. We've removed all the selling. We've delivered value and content before a person ever has any risk, and in fact, they get to put you to the test. And at the end of that, you say, if you want to go fast and if you want to do it with us, if you like us, we'll find a way. We'll see if we can do this together. But tell me why you think this is the right move. And they start selling you on them. This is what I call the most powerful sales system in the world. This is what the invisible funnel is. This is what I've taught some of the best marketers in the world how to do at very, very high cost in very small groups. This is what Toby, Lawrence, and I will be creating and recreating for you. Now, what's the back end? Getting all in, right? Getting all in and joining in your team. If we have the flexibility and the agility to tell a really good story every single month and do a new promotional run every single month, and it's different and it's engaging, and there's a lot of people saying why you need to be a part of this through their own stories, and it's about getting people to an event like this, but I'm not so much telling a story right now. I'm just kind of teaching some cool stuff. Then what you have is a system that leverages all of the best-selling psychology and strategies that pull maximum dollars on the front end from the standpoint of like an information-funded proposal sale. That would be the live event, right, where you just teach stuff. And it's not you. It's Toby and Lawrence teaching stuff. And on the back end, they're having your prospects sell themselves on why they need to work with you. And all you basically do is say, all right, I guess I'm all in. I guess I'll let you come all in. You work with us all in. This is a system for success that has sustainability to it. We did one of these webinars just literally on the whim last night. This was the one I told you about at the beginning. And this was for a $10,000 workshop that we just thought of, right, out of the blue. And so far today, 4 out of the 7 people that we accepted to the next round have said, hell yeah, this is exactly what I want to do. Here's my money. It's the polar opposite of what we think getting monetary results are in this sort of world. And so what Toby and Lawrence are basically championing for everyone here is this process for the Empower network group that's theirs. And what will happen, what will be exciting as this process evolves over time, is new stories and new leaders will erupt, right? And then they can use this model too and continue to grow, right? And so it's the solution to an ever-changing and dynamic world applied to a large group of people, all with the same common goal, leveraging the power of the internet. That's what this invisible funnel concept is. And I'm not exactly sure what Toby and Lawrence are going to do in terms of the monetization on the front end, but if I know them, they've got some really cool stuff to share about that with you. If all you got from what this invisible funnel concept is it's a really cool way to make money and have people sell themselves on why they need to give you money, that's all you need. And you should get excited about it, because that's exactly what this is going to do. It takes work. This isn't easy for me, right? I wouldn't do this if it wasn't my own students, my own folks that I've helped mentor, that I really like a lot. I've got to put in work to this, and I want to, because the bigger their story gets, the more I get to brag. But I understand that my own part in this isn't just this that we're talking about now. It's us brainstorming, creating this month's story, and doing it again, and then doing it again, and then eventually they'll have it, and they'll be able to run this on their own. And you'll see, guys, that as other teams kind of slow, you guys will continue to thrive, because you're delivering to the marketplace what it needs. A new message, a new good story. How do TV channels work, right? There's a good show, there's a good series, but people get tired of it sometimes. Well, launch a new series. So that's what this is. With the end goal, end game being your business growing. I hope you guys can see how selfless this is of them to put in the work, put in the forethought to create this for you. That's why they didn't go out and just start spending voraciously and aggressively, as most marketers do. I do. To start growing your business with a co-op is because they knew that there was a better way. And this is what it is. So did that make sense for you guys?
Absolutely. Jump over to Facebook so we can get some feedback. I know that just blew people's minds for sure.
One thing for sure is I'm a marketing geek. I think about this stuff a lot.
Yeah, that was I shot a trading video the other day, and I definitely thought of you, Daegan. That was actually inspired by TJ when I was like, our number one most lucrative secret for creating 6 figures a month is becoming obsessed with marketing. Just become obsessed with it. When you become obsessed with it, it becomes everything you do, and then it becomes naturally, and then that's it.
Yeah. And then if you're just excited, if you've ever been around a person that's got a lot of energy and they're excited about doing what they do, you're like naturally attracted to that. Like you get your level of energy rises. So if you're excited about the thing that's going to make other people happy, then all of a sudden, or get people results, make them happy, make their life better, then all of a sudden they take that energy and they kind of rise up to your level energy wise. They get it from you and then they get better. So hopefully if there's one thing that my sort of insanity has helped is exactly what you just said. If that's the takeaway you get from me, that's just going to inspire a lot of people, because you're going to be an insane addict. And then that's just going to inspire other people to become insane addicts, and an addict in the best of way, the most money-making of way, right?
So let me steal the screen from you, Lawrence, for just a sec, just so I can doodle out so everybody's crystal clear on kind of how this process will go. Just let me know when you guys can see my screen.
Okay.
You can see it?
Yep.
Sweet. So guys, what basically we're going to do is the traffic we're going to purchase from Daegan at wholesale prices. Like, we haven't even got into the massive industry extreme discount that he's given us. But so rather than you have to worry about, stress about, and just waste your life away trying to figure out how to generate the traffic, we're going to buy from Daegan. We're going to send it to capture pages that are ever-changing, ever unique and revolving, and obviously Daegan's 7-figure testing behind it. Go to that capture page. Rather than our initial thought that we were going to do with the master co-op, where it would be us taking control of the leads, now you're going to be building your own list, and we're going to be building your list for you, So the traffic comes to the landing page, they come into your list, so it's going into your autoresponder. You're following up with them, but then we're following up with your leads as well on your behalf. So you're getting a double win. So they're coming through the funnel. And then rather than just this be it, which would be pretty rad, what he was talking about is each month or bi-weekly, we're going to be doing ongoing promotions where not only can you invite your leads to that promotion, and what we'll do is we'll do a 7-day email story campaign and build up to a story webinar on, say, a Tuesday night, and then we'll get everybody that's there that we're going to do the invisible funnel. We'll invite them to come back to a webinar, say the next night, and it'll be upfront value, pay out 97 or whatever the price point we decide on the back end, and you're going to make commissions on this invisible funnel webinar that we do. So you're going to make commissions on it, going to be making that upfront money. And then once we go through the training webinar, we give them all kinds of value. You make upfront cash because of the affiliate program. Now at the end, like Daegan was talking about, the end of that awesome story selling how-to where we've taught them, kind of like this webinar, we taught them a bunch of awesome stuff, and they're at the end of their seat. Now we're going to say, well, now we're going to show you how you can leverage this whole system, and we're going to show you how we're actively making hundreds of $1,000s a month, moving our team, blah, 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 blah. And we want to know why you would be a good fit to join our team, just like Daegan was talking about. And then they email you telling you all the amazing things, basically applying to join your team. And then all you're doing is sending them your link so they can get all in. The process is just absolutely incredible. And Daegan, we truly, truly thank you for turning us on to it.
Ah, yeah, man, absolutely. This is it's game changing stuff, and I'm happy to be here to share it.
It's gonna get pretty nuts. So let me jump to Facebook and just see if everybody's ready for the actual offer. Do you guys want the link? Do you want to know the price? Like, are you guys ready? We've been on here for. It's funny, before we got started, I was certain that we were going to be able to get wrapped up in 60 minutes. Well, obviously, we're definitely not wrapped up in 60 minutes because there's just going to be no sleep for anybody tonight from the innovations and the trainings that have been going on. Lawrence, you got anything else? Daegan, anything else you want to add in before I release the link and the price point for everybody?
I understand the lengths that we went to doing this. Not being paid, the money you bought traffic for is buying traffic, not buying our time, not buying our skills. We want to take your money and take 100% of what is given to us and buy traffic for you. So for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks, we've been working for free. And there's a lot of members who are not even on our team. But our goal was, look, I mean, if a lot of people make money, we change the industry, right? Because there's a lot of people who are naysayers, like internet marketing doesn't work. There's only the 2% who make it. I say no. It's just because they're not working as a group, right? Most internet marketers work solo, but most network marketing companies work in groups. Well, you know, we're all network marketers. We all came from that type of lifestyle. So we wanted to build what can we do to help masses. You're not going to get us on the phone one-on-one. And people are like, well, Lawrence, why don't you call me? It's like, well, you're $25. I'm not going to call you. It's just that's not where I want to be. That's not freedom for me. But if I can build a system that benefits the crowd, that was kind of where our focus was. How do we help a lot of people systemizing the things that they can't do yet?
It's going to be beautiful. So, guys, what we came up with, what the initiative is actually being called is the Magic Traffic Machine. It's a $97 a month membership club. In there, you obviously have access to insider training from Lawrence and I. You get access to the ongoing promotions, what we're talking about, the monthly promotions. You're also going to get access to the affiliate program, so you can start making money on the upfront sales of the promotions. And then also what the biggest thing is, this is going to give you an Extreme Empower Network discount, industry discount on traffic. because I don't know if you know this, but when you go out and you purchase traffic from a vendor, Dagan, what's the percentage you're looking to pay them right off the bat?
Say that to me.
Cut.
I'm not understanding.
Vendors cut when you buy traffic from some, like a broker or somebody.
Oh, so you guys is like doing this cut, doing a co-op. Normally 10, 15, 20%. 20% is kind of 15, 20% is pretty average.
So normally, guys, when you go to any vendor to try and buy traffic for them, they're taking a 15 to 20% cut right away. We're not taking that. We're giving it to you guys at wholesale. You're bypassing straight that BS 15 to 20% because we know that 20% extra can buy you the leads, more leads, and it will get you to your end goal quick enough.
Well, actually, it's better than that. This is the real scoop on what we do and why people come to get traffic from us. With our agency, it's not that we just do deals and get traffic for less than others get it. It's that we literally test everything. This month, I've spent at least so far $100,000 on traffic. At least. I'm not even, and I haven't even looked. I have to go look at it. What happens when you test that much is you start to see trends. And with our marketing, when we test, we track. I'm pretty good at this. I've been doing it for years. About 20% of what we test comes back as worth testing again, meaning maybe it didn't quite break even, maybe it just broke even, or it actually was a slam dunk win, right? So what we do with our agency is once we actually find those wins, those are the only people that we go and negotiate deals with for our agency. So we're cutting out 80% of the fat. If you spent $100 on advertising in just the regular way, $80 of that would just be chalked up to testing, right? But what if the traffic's already been tested for you and only the 20% that was profitable was what you were tapping into? And then secondarily, it was tapped into at a wholesale price. That's way more than 20%. That's like skipping months and potentially years, because some of the relationships that we have in terms of what we do, I mean, they're because I've been around for a long time. It's not because of anything else. It's cutting literally through months of testing and years of relationship buildings to get straight to where the real quality is. And that's really what sets us apart. That's really what allows us to be the person that people always want to do traffic and advertising deals with. So it's that you're not ever getting the traffic that didn't convert. You're only getting the traffic that converted the best. And then you're getting it for cheaper than you would if you went and bought it from that person yourself at wholesale, because we got it at wholesale.
Absolutely love it. It's a beautiful thing. Tam, you got anything else to add?
I don't think people understand how hard it is to find good traffic relationships and buying it on time, trusting chunks of money to people. I mean, you have to do multiple tests with people to make sure, before you drop 10 grand with somebody, you like to, maybe spend a couple thousand or before testing. But building a long-term relationship with someone, it takes time. But you're in a special place right now because we know Daegan. Like, we've worked with Daegan for years, and being able to have that relationship already, knowing what he's done in the past, knowing what he's done for us already, and his current track record that he's actually doing this versus some companies, they say they've done it, and they've done it maybe 5-10 years ago, and they're out of the game now. Daegan's been building it, and he's continuously innovating. We want to make sure that we change the face of our team, that the simple newbie can step in and start seeing some results.
Absolutely.
Now, the one thing I don't think you guys hit on really hard enough is, like, now that you guys get where the traffic is coming from, how we get to the traffic we get. These are the leads that are going on to Toby and Lawrence, not your list, only to take care of and build their business, but this process is literally building their list, and that's their asset that everyone here gets to keep as part of this deal. And so I think that's really one thing I wanted to highlight, because you guys didn't talk about it. This isn't just you're building your Empower business. This is you're building a list that you get to keep and grow for the rest of your life.
Yeah, previously we had discussed we were going to manage the master list because we just thought most people couldn't handle their own list. And we're like, okay, that is a sacrifice, but most people are going to butcher the list. They're not going to mail it on time. They're not going to have a good follow up. We'll just do it on our end. But what if we can do it both? We'll give you the lead, you manage, you broadcast, and we'll get the lead and we'll sell for you.
Boom.
It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. All right, so I think everybody's ready for what's about to happen. So let me give you guys the link that you can go and take advantage of the offer. It's chronomarketer.com/offer. chronomarketer.com/offer. And again, this webinar is being done just for our people that were inside the master co-op. So obviously we have your $500 share, which you purchased for that, which is going to be transferred over to Daegan. So Daegan is when you go into the membership site, that's where you're going to see the options of what your traffic buys are. Daegan, can you kind of go over some of the options for people when it comes to traffic purchases, just briefly?
Yeah, no, I don't even know what you guys have set up. So you guys got to tell me.
Well, we know what we previously, and guys, everybody has to understand here that this has been the quickest implementation of something like this. I actually had an awesome conversation with Daegan's right-hand man, Rob, today. He was like, the speed of which we put this together for everybody working is just so incredible. He actually said Daegan must love you guys that he's got us working so hard to do this thing. So when you guys get back into the membership site, you're going to see in there the different packages of which you can purchase for the traffic. And there'll be training videos in there to show you exactly how to do it, what you need to set up. But just know that I know that a couple of people snuck on here that weren't actually in the master co-op, and that's all cool. But the people that are in the master co-op, come chronomarketer.com/offer, sign up so you're in the Magic Traffic Machine membership. And then what we're going to do is transfer your $500 share that you bought back when we released phase 1. All that money will go over to Daegan and his team so he can buy the traffic. There's a couple of things you have to set up so we make sure the leads go to you. And then if you want to go above and beyond your $500 share, which I know a lot of people want to, they already said they want to buy a couple of thousand already, then in the back office of the membership site, that's where you're going to be able to get in there and actually choose which your purchases, what you want to do.
Yeah, so one of our limitations on our last system was we didn't want people to buy multiple shares. And people are like, well, with one share, I'm going to get on stage and hold a big check. Like, well, you can't really do that with $500 a month of just buying traffic. And so that was one of the reasons why we wanted to have a system where we could buy multiple shares and not have it limiting. See, my merchant couldn't hold it. It just we could not do it because we're so new. I mean, 50,000 a month was the maximum we could actually process. And so that was a huge bottleneck. How can we have enough members who want to buy multiple shares? This was one of the solutions that, I mean, we asked Daegan, and he was graceful enough to say, yeah, you know, we have the capacity. And to find someone with the capacity, you don't know how many people we had to turn away. I mean, people are like, you know, when's phase 2 going to open and when's phase 2 going to? I was like, well, you know what? We want to take care of the people who've invested money with us first, and we want the best possible solution of where to put that, and we want to sell for you.
And so expectations on the system. What we're going to do, since what we just shared is this process is totally dynamic, and it's not just leveraging our traffic as an agency, it's also leveraging the technology that we've created and the co-op process where Toby and Lawrence get to follow up for you, but you also simultaneously have that lead, one timeshare, just you and Toby and Lawrence, it's the only people that get that lead, put directly into your own list. So there's a lot of leverage that's being created here for everyone. And because we have to literally create the first story, and that's what our next job is now that we've kind of exposed what's going down. Um, Next week is when we're going to be setting all this up, and then we'll start rolling with the traffic. We've been in terms of putting together sort of, let's call it the mutual fund of best traffic sources. We've already got that laid out and ready to go. We just have to take the time to make sure the invisible funnel process for this first go around is as tight as humanly possible, and you guys can just turn heads and kick it out of the park, knock it out of the park. There we go.
It's going to be absolutely epic that we have. I mean, just as a standalone system and support unit for people to not only leverage our stories, our success, and your talent and everything to build their list. I mean, that's truly epic to begin with. But now we're using this whole system to help people grow their empowered business too. It's just going to be absolutely awesome. But guys, do you have any closing comments before we round it out here and let all these lovely people off the line 2 hours and 40 minutes later?
My wife would love to have this running because I've been spending a lot of time on this, and she's like, "Can you just get it done?" We have a lot of money that we want to spend for you guys, and she's just like, "Just the faster you get it done, so we can have a cool Thanksgiving." And we just been putting a lot of time, and we just wanted to say, hey, like, we love you guys. We want to build a culture in our teams that, even if you're not in our team, we understand that being leaders. I mean, I'm the number one guy. Toby's gonna be pretty soon the number one guy. I mean, Toby and Layla, that's a really hard combo to beat. I mean, they've outsponsored me, right? I mean, how does that even happen? So I'm just saying, our combo with someone who has built systems, who loves tweaking and testing, you have that lab, we have custom software, we want to change your life. And we just found a way to be able to do it. And trust us, we were searching. And we were fortunate enough that Daegan had something that we could use, and he actually liked us enough.
That's right. Doesn't happen all the time or often. But once it does.
Any closing comments there, Daegan? Again, thank you so much for your time, my man.
Man, no. I just if there's any questions on anything, that's the only thing I'm thinking about right now is if people have any questions on how things proceed and what we're getting ready to unleash. I would just first off say to that, if there's any ideas or any questions that as this process continues, as we get things set up, you guys will know everything. As we put together the lead capture page, we'll say, bang, here's the lead capture page. This is where we're going to promote. As the first promotion period goes down, it's going to be a very orchestrated affair where Toby and Lawrence are going to say, okay, tomorrow we're going to send out this email, and it's for this event. We're going to be telling this story, which is going to lead to this invisible funnel event, so that everyone is just in unison and in sync. And what's the right word? In symphony. And when you work in that way for the same common goal, we see product launches getting big results. But when this happens in this way, it's like a product launch always happening because there's so much buzz, so much noise. And so that's the words that are spurting out of my mouth in terms of how things will proceed from an expectation standpoint. But for me, I'm just wondering if there's any questions that people have, getting the sucker, as we're getting ready to close out.
Yeah, do you want me to jump to the Facebook and see if anybody has any questions?
Yeah, sure.
So guys, if you have any questions right now, just post them in the group here so we can get them answered quickly for you.
How come whenever I do a webinar, it's like a 4-hour webinar?
Good content.
I just get people excited.
When can I share this with my list? Sean, do you mean with your list to offer it, or you mean your team? Yeah. Either way, you can we're going to get the recording of this up so you can share it with teams so you can get your team members on it, but obviously you won't be able to share it with your list and market it until we have everything in place, over the next couple of days, couple of weeks, with the landing pages and the funnel and everything going. Yeah, there'll be new follow-ups. We actually did training on the follow-ups, and we'll be giving you guys follow-ups to put in there too. But more importantly, we're going to be teaching you the skills to create your own follow-ups that convert. So you, one, have that skill, and two, you get better conversions because the people are knowing you, learning more about you, and getting to know you.
So Brian is here's a question: is there a new autoresponder series, or will we use our existing one? So remember, the name of this game is dynamic. It's let's create the best story now. So the answer is going to be it's going to be new stuff, and it's not going to be autoresponders. It's going to be like broadcast, real time messages. Brian, with you like sharing your side of the story, Toby and Lauren sharing their side of the story, all working in unison to really build up that desire inside of the prospect. You'll see. It'll be fun.
Yes, it will.
2 million. Everyone loves that capture page.
We know where we got to start with it.
Dave wants to know. Dave wants to know when he can purchase more traffic. I don't know what you and Rob set up, so maybe it might be better for you guys to give them that stuff by email later on.
Yeah. And in the membership site, you'll be able to see the different packages that you can purchase, David. The managed lead part. I don't understand the managed lead part from Alicia.
So they're gonna get a lead, we're gonna get a lead, and we're gonna sell cookie to you. There's only one person who gets that lead, you. Now the system will get a lead as in us, and we'll sell for you because it's cookie to you.
Daegan, you want to clarify?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it. That was literally it. So
Because before
you get
us having the list, but now we're like, here's your lead. This is your lead.
Yeah, all the great stuff we started with, with list building. The reason was this is like the surprise, the gift. When you have your own list and you really leverage it, like Franco says, he's got a 100,000 person list. That's the way to roll. You know what I mean? When you have your own list, this is where you really start to create real security. If there was any security in the world, there's always uncertainty, but it's the closest thing we have to security. Is that list. And so this process isn't just building your business, it's creating your own unique list that you get to bond with. And that's the asset that will, at least for me, over the last 8 years, only produce more and more results as I've done more and more with them. Yeah, so let me ask you guys this. So, Lawrence, what was like, I know you guys have probably read at least one of my crazy, bad, grammatically written emails. Are there any of those that you guys remember where it was like, oh, this guy Daegan? Or, because I think if we can explain that part, they'll get it. And if you can think probably to how you met either Dave or Lawrence or Toby, what that first email was like, or that email that finally got you in. Imagine having hundreds of people to thousands of people, not the whole list, but the people that really dig you, to support you because of your business building and leverage. I was going to ask a question, then I kind of just changed it to a statement because I'm tired.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're always looking to put ourselves in when we were at the very beginning and what really brought us into the business. And just checking out your stuff is like, multiple streams of income. That was it. You always talking about the multi-legged stool. Someone knocks out a leg of your stool, you still got more legs to stand on. And so what we're doing here is we're gonna build and monetize a way where you can make money on the front end, and it's gonna be always ever changing. It's gonna be evolving. Yeah, it's part of the invisible funnel. It's the magic traffic machine. I mean, I was watching something. I'm like, Toby, it's like magic, but it's real. So I was like, dude, it's like, You get someone who knows how to get a lot of traffic, like millions of dollars worth of traffic, someone who does the split testing, and we're gonna have a system where we can sell for you, actually multiple chances to sell for you, and you can leverage our story selling ability and our story as being, the top two producers in Empower. We're going to be able to take this to another level, I believe, because we're always going to be innovating above the curve. We're going to be changing things to help you make more money. And really what got me is multiple streams. I mean, I'm got to understand, both of us lost, combined about 50,000 a month in income with our network marketing company, but we're not sweating it because we have multiple streams. And we want to kind of be teaching this throughout your experience with us, because it's list building, but you're monetizing. Toby, anything for you?
No, I'm just loving all the amazing love that everybody's doing. Franco highlighting the welcome email. Love it. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for your time. Obviously, if anybody has any other questions, if you're watching this in the recording, just fire your questions in here. We're obviously going to stay attentive to this group while we're, until we're running like a well-oiled machine. But of course, we're all going through this together, guys. This is a learning progress for all of us, and we're all gonna excel as we each go along together. Just know that we're putting this together as quickly as possible to get you the best results as quick as possible. But we don't want to jump the gun early. We want to make sure that, earliest a week, latest 2 weeks from Daegan's estimates, because we want to make sure everything's put in place correctly. But what you need to do is go to go to this link offer, go through the sign up process so you're part of the Magic Traffic Machine system, the monthly club, and then just follow the welcome emails, follow the GVO training, and then anytime you have any questions whatsoever, just come back to the group here and fire them in, and we'll make sure you get your questions answered right away, and we'll move forward together and grow our list as quickly as possible. So on that note, if anybody doesn't have anything else to say, let's round it out before we hit the 3 hour mark.
Thanks for everyone just coming on. I appreciate your time. Your time is valuable.
Daegan, we appreciate you so much, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, guys, my pleasure, man. It's always fun. So it's going to be a fun ride working together, and I'm tired.
Thanks, dude. All right, guys, take action. Get to that link right now. Any questions, just come to the group.
Good night, guys.